In the quiet village of Kanata, on the day of Naruto Uzumaki's birth, the air crackled with an unusual energy. The night sky, usually serene, was veiled by dark clouds, ominously swirling above the village. It was the day the Nine Tails, the mighty beast known for its destruction, had attacked. But unbeknownst to all, there was more at play than a mere chaotic rampage of a tail beast. In the depths of the human realm, the essence of the world-breaker Hulk stirred, dormant but powerful. Millions of years of rage, strength, and primal energy coursed through his soul, waiting for a new host. When Kushina Uzumaki gave birth to Naruto, a fateful alignment of cosmic forces awakened that dormant energy. In that moment, as the infant cried out, the combined energy of the Nine Tails and the world-breaker Hulk fused. The essence of an ancient titan mingled with the spirit of a young boy, creating a being of unimaginable potential. The villagers, terrified and in disbelief, watched as Naruto's tiny form pulsed with an aura of green light, an indication of the unholy power coursing through him. Years passed, and Naruto grew up unaware of his true heritage. He was the village's pariah, the boy who housed the Nine Tails. The villagers, blinded by fear and prejudice, hurled insults at him, treating him as less than human. Little did they know that their hatred only fed the darkness growing within him. It stoked the dormant rage of the Hulk, awakening fragments of his former life that whispered in Naruto's mind during moments of despair and anger. The sun rose on a crisp autumn morning, illuminating the village of Kanata. In his small, cluttered apartment, Naruto sat cross-legged on the floor, staring at a picture of his parents. "I'll show them," he muttered, his voice filled with a quiet intensity. "I'll show them all." Outside, the laughter of children echoed through the streets. Naruto clenched his fists, feeling the familiar heat radiate from within him. "Why can't I just be like everyone else?" He banged his fist against the wooden floor, leaving a crack that spread like a spider's web. The moment he struck the ground, a rush of energy surged through him, igniting a fire in his veins. His vision blurred as the world around him began to shift. Colors bled together, and a low growl reverberated in his chest. "Hulk!" The voice roared within him, shaking the very foundations of his being. Suddenly, flashes of memories from a life long forgotten erupted in his mind, worlds torn asunder, cosmic battles, enemies vanquished with a mere flick of his wrist, and a rage so profound it eclipsed the sun. He saw himself towering over planets, shaking them to their cores, casting fear into the hearts of those who dared oppose him. He felt the weight of 1,000 battles on his shoulders, and with every moment, his anger boiled over. "Not again!" Naruto shouted, grappling with the visions that consumed him. His body trembled as the power threatened to spill over, and the ground beneath him cracked further. "I won't be weak. I won't." The energy around him flared, igniting his chakra in a dazzling green glow. It was a terrifying beauty that enveloped him, blending with the unmistakable red chakra of the Nine Tails. The two forces fought for dominance, each vying for control over this boy who harbored the spirits of both a monster and a titan. As Naruto's emotions spiraled, the Hulk's rage enveloped him like a cloak, suffusing his mind with dark thoughts. "They'll pay for their cruelty," a voice hissed. "Let them fear you?" Naruto's eyes glowed an intense emerald as he looked at his reflection in the cracked mirror. His visage was warped, displaying the raw power brewing inside. "I'll make them fear me," he whispered, the hatred boiling inside him finally surfacing. Fueled by the spirit of World-Breaker Hulk, Naruto embraced the darkness. He stood, muscles rippling with a new strength he had never felt before. "I am Naruto Uzumaki," he shouted, a fierce grin spreading across his face. "And I won't let anyone stand in my way." The first test of power. Word of Naruto's transformation spread through the village quickly, and the reactions were mixed. Some trembled at the thought of the beast's host becoming more powerful than anyone could imagine, while others felt a spark of hope. But for Naruto, this was just the beginning. During training, he met with his team Sakura and Sasuke. They were unaware of the turmoil raging within him or the darkness that had awakened. Sasuke, with his ever-growing ambition, sensed a change in Naruto. "You've been acting different, Naruto. What's going on?" Naruto chuckled darkly, his eyes flickering with green light. You wouldn't understand, Shizuke. You think you know power, but you haven't even scratched the surface. Shizuke narrowed his eyes, irritation boiling within him. I'll show you power. You're just the host of a monster. In a flash, Naruto's demeanor shifted. He charged at Shizuke, the ground trembling beneath him. You want to see power? Let me show you. With a single punch, Naruto struck the ground, sending a shockwave rippling through the training field. The impact threw Shizuke off his feet, and he landed harshly, staring at Naruto with wide eyes. What was that? A twisted grin spread across Naruto's face. That's just a taste. I am more than you'll ever be. He reveled in a newfound strength, feeling the Hulk's essence push him forward, urging him to assert dominance. The descent into darkness. As the days turned into weeks, Naruto's power grew unchecked. The villagers' animosity fueled his rage, morphing him into something darker. He began training relentlessly, honing his strength and chakra control to unleash devastating attacks that left his teammates and sensei, Kakashi, awestruck and terrified. Kakashi, sensing the change in Naruto, decided to confront him. Naruto, you need to control this power. If you let it consume you, you'll lose yourself. Naruto's laughter rang through the air, cold and devoid of warmth. Control? Why would I control it when I can unleash it? I'm done being the underdog. I'll make everyone respect me. Fear me. Kakashi's eyes narrowed. He could feel the Hulk's presence pulsing within Naruto, a dangerous combination of anger and power that threatened to spiral out of control. You're walking a dangerous path. Power without restraint leads to destruction. Good, Naruto replied, his voice a low growl. I want to destroy everything that stands in my way. Kakashi realized the gravity of the situation. This was not the Naruto he had known. He was becoming something else entirely, driven by a thirst for revenge against those who had wronged him. The first encounter was Shizuke. One fateful night, Naruto faced Shizuke again. The tension was thick in the air as they prepared to spar. You've been acting like a monster, Naruto, Shizuke said, his voice steady. But I'm not afraid of you. Naruto's grin widened, fueled by the Hulk's rage. You should be. You're just a stepping stone on my path to greatness. Shizuke charged forward, using his Sharingan to predict Naruto's movements. But Naruto was faster, propelled by the Hulk's raw strength. He sidestepped and countered with a devastating punch that sent Shizuke crashing into a tree. Is that all you've got? Naruto taunted, his eyes shimmering with an eerie green light. Shizuke struggled to stand, determination etched across his face. I won't give up that easily. I'll show you my true power. Summoning his chakra, Shizuke activated his Chidori, electricity crackling around his hand. You may be strong, but I won't back down. The two clashed, the impact resonating through the forest. Naruto absorbed the Chidori's energy, laughing as the attack only fueled his growing strength. You think that can hurt me? He countered with a punch, the sheer force shattering the ground beneath them. Shizuke barely managed to dodge, gritting his teeth. I have to find a way to stop him. He's becoming a monster. As the battle raged on, Naruto felt the Hulk's rage blending with his own, pushing him to new heights. He became more powerful with each blow, each taunt. His laughter echoed like thunder, an omen of the destruction he yearned to unleash. In one final surge of energy, Naruto slammed his fist into the ground, causing a massive shockwave that sent Shizuke flying. The world around them trembled as Naruto stood tall, a dark silhouette against the shattered landscape. This is just the beginning, Shizuke. I will become the ultimate force in this world. The confrontation with Konoha. The whispers of Naruto's escalating power reached the elders of Konoha. They gathered, fearful of the monster the boy was becoming. He's becoming a threat to the village, one elder insisted. We must do something before it's too late. Danzo, ever the schemer, saw an opportunity. If we can harness that power for ourselves, Konoha could dominate the shinobi world. We need to contain him before he loses control entirely. But as they plotted, Naruto stood alone on a hill overlooking the village, the dark aura around him pulsating. They think they can control me? They'll regret underestimating me. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie light on the village below. With a swift motion, he leaped into the air, his body igniting with chakra as he soared toward Konoha, intent on making his presence known. The streets fell silent as the ground shook beneath his feet. The villagers, sensing the impending doom, looked on in horror as Naruto landed with a thunderous crash, a titan among men. I am Naruto Uzumaki. And I will bring this village to its knees, he roared, his voice echoing through the night. The villagers scattered, panic erupting as Naruto unleashed a wave of destructive energy, obliterating the training grounds and leaving a massive crater where once stood a testament to their strength. The final stand. Kakashi and the other Jonin arrived, forming a barrier around the village. Naruto, stop this. You don't have to do this. Kakashi shouted, desperation lacing his voice. But Naruto merely laughed, a sound devoid of warmth. You don't understand. This is the power I've been waiting for. You can stop me. Sakura, tears in her eyes, stepped forward. Naruto, please. You're not a monster. We can help you. Help? Naruto scoffed, his voice dripping with disdain. You've always treated me like a monster. I'm done being your pawn. In a fit of rage, he unleashed a wave of energy, scattering the Jonin like leaves in the wind. Kakashi struggled to regain his footing, realization dawning on him. We need to contain him before he destroys everything. As the battle escalated, the elders of Konoha watched in horror. They had underestimated Naruto's power, and now it threatened to consume them all. But even as chaos erupted, there was a flicker of something else within Naruto, the remnants of his former self struggling against the darkness. Is this what you wanted? He roared, his voice echoing through the village. You thought you could control me? Now I'll show you true power. In that moment of chaos, Naruto began to embrace the entirety of the Hulk's essence. He saw himself not as a monster but as a god, destined to rule over all who dared oppose him. The final clash was imminent. The villagers could only watch as Naruto's dark laughter resonated, a harbinger of doom as the once innocent child of prophecy transformed into the harbinger of destruction. And as the dust settled, the world would know, the age of Naruto Uzumaki, the world breaker, had just begun. As the chaos enveloped Konoha, Naruto felt the energy surging within him. The familiar voices of his past were now mere echoes drowned out by the overwhelming power of the Hulk. He stood atop the ruins, the remnants of his village crumbling beneath him, and relished the fear reflected in the eyes of the villagers who had once scorned him. The air crackled with tension as the villagers tried to regroup, their faces pale with fear. They had seen the Nine Tails in action, but this was something entirely different. This was raw, unfiltered power, a force of nature that even their strongest shinobi struggled to contain. Kakashi stood at the forefront, determination etched into his features. Naruto. We can still save you. You have to fight it. This isn't who you are. But Naruto felt nothing but contempt for their pleas. You think I need saving? He sneered, his eyes glinting with an otherworldly glow. I'm more than any of you could ever comprehend. I'm a god among you mere mortals. With that declaration, Naruto unleashed another devastating wave of energy, a visceral expression of his new identity. The shockwave radiated outward, sending debris flying and knocking Kakashi and the other Jonin off their feet. The villagers scrambled to escape, their screams piercing the air as Naruto reveled in their terror. The gathering storm. In the shadows, a gathering of the village's elite began to form a strategy. The elders exchanged worried glances, knowing they needed to act quickly. Danzo stepped forward, his eyes glinting with a mix of ambition and fear. We can't let him continue this path. If he's truly lost control, we'll need to resort to extreme measures. Shikamaru, observing the unfolding disaster, chimed in. We need to contain him, but not through brute force. If we can appeal to whatever's left of his former self, maybe we can reach him. Appeal. Danzo scoffed. He's beyond reasoning. Power is all he craves now. We must strike before he turns his attention to the cage. Meanwhile, Naruto, basking in his newfound strength, felt a flicker of confusion within. A part of him still wanted acceptance, still craved the camaraderie he had long sought, but the Hulk's influence drowned out those remnants of hope. The memories of his childhood, filled with loneliness and rejection, ignited the fury that coursed through him. "I'll destroy everything that ever held me back," he roared, a declaration to both friend and foe. The confrontation with Sasuke. As Naruto surveyed the devastation, a familiar chakra approached. Sasuke, now more determined than ever, stood ready to face his friend-turned-foe. "I won't let you continue this madness, Naruto," he declared, his eyes narrowing. "You're not a monster. You're my friend." Naruto turned his gaze, fury and surprise blending in his expression. "Friend? You're nothing but a weakling clinging to false ideals. I'm stronger than you'll ever be. I've trained harder than anyone else to prove that strength isn't just about power," Sasuke countered, activating his Sharingan. "You need to remember who you are, Naruto. This isn't you." The two charged at each other, the ground trembling beneath their feet. Sasuke focused his chakra, unleashing a Chidori, the electricity crackling violently as heating for Naruto's heart. But Naruto countered with a massive fist, imbued with the raw strength of the Hulk. Their powers collided, creating a blinding explosion that sent shockwaves riddling through the village. The impact shattered nearby structures, and the earth beneath them cracked open, revealing the depth of Naruto's strength. Sasuke grunted, struggling to regain his footing. "I won't give up on you, Naruto," he shouted, forcing himself to stand. "You're still in there. Fight it." In that moment, a flicker of recognition pierced through the overwhelming darkness. Naruto hesitated, feeling the echoes of their shared memories, their training, the bonds forged through countless battles, and the camaraderie that once defined them. The shattering of bonds. But the Hulk's rage was relentless. It surged forward, threatening to swallow Naruto whole. "They don't care about you," the voice inside him growled. "They only fear you. Show them why they should bow before you." With a roar, Naruto pushed forward, launching a series of powerful punches aimed at Sasuke. "I'll show you power," he yelled, the ground quaking with each strike. Sasuke barely dodged, knowing that he had to get through to his friend without letting his emotions cloud his judgment. As the two exchanged blows, Kakashi and the other Jonin arrived, forming a protective barrier around Sasuke. "Get back!" Kakashi shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. "We need to hold him off until we can find a way to reach him." Naruto looked at them, eyes blazing with anger and betrayal. "You're all the same. Always trying to control me. I'll show you that I won't be held back any longer." With a swift motion, he slammed his fists into the ground, sending a massive shockwave in every direction. The force knocked Kakashi and the others' other feet, and Sasuke struggled to keep his footing. "This isn't you, Naruto," Sasuke yelled, desperation in his voice. "You don't have to do this." But Naruto only smirked, relishing the chaos he had wrought. "I'm becoming what I was always meant to be. No one can stop me now." A choice to make. As the dust settled from the explosion, Naruto felt a strange pull within himself, a duality between the raging Hulk and the young ninja who yearned for acceptance. Memories flickered like shadows in his mind, the friends he had fought alongside, the dreams he once held dear, and the promises he had made to himself. Suddenly, the image of his parents flashed before him. Their loving smiles, their warmth, everything he had lost in his relentless pursuit of power. In that moment, the rage dimmed just enough to reveal a flicker of clarity. "No. I'm not a monster," he whispered, feeling the weight of his past pressing down on him. But the Hulk roared back, furious at the intrusion. "You are nothing without me. Embrace the rage. Destroy them all." The internal battle reached its peak as Naruto faltered, caught between the two forces. But even as the Hulk's rage threatened to consume him, the bonds he had forged began to push through the darkness. The memories of his friends, The hope that had once fueled his desire to become Hokage began to intertwine with the monstrous power he wielded. In a surge of willpower, Naruto unleashed a cry that shook the heavens. I am Naruto Uzumaki. I won't let this power define me. With that declaration, a brilliant light exploded from within him, blinding everyone in the vicinity. The energy was a combination of his chakra and the Hulk's essence, coalescing into a form that was both terrifying and magnificent. The transformation. As the light subsided, the air was thick with tension. Naruto stood there, transformed, a figure that was an amalgamation of his humanity and the primal force of the Hulk. His body radiated an emerald glow, but his eyes held the fire of determination rather than pure rage. Get back! Kakashi shouted, recognizing the immense power emanating from Naruto. But instead of unleashing destruction, Naruto turned his gaze skyward, channeling the energy into a protective shield. I won't hurt anyone. I'll control this power. In that moment of clarity, he felt the Hulk's essence calm, a strange harmony forming between them. I can wield this, he thought, embracing both aspects of his being, the child who craved acceptance and the titan who sought vengeance. Sasuke, stunned, took a step forward. Naruto, is that you? Are you in there? Naruto nodded, his voice steady. I am still me, Sasuke. But I have the strength to protect everything I care about. I will no longer be held back. A new resolve. As he spoke, the villagers slowly began to emerge from their hiding places, staring at Naruto with a mix of awe and fear. They had witnessed the chaos he could unleash, yet now they saw something different, a protector, perhaps, rather than a destroyer. Kakashi approached cautiously, still wary but hopeful. Naruto, if you can control this power, we can work together. We can protect Kanata from any threat. Protect. Naruto echoed, contemplating the weight of those words. They've always feared me, Kakashi. What if I embrace this power not to destroy but to dominate? What if I'm stronger than any Kage they've ever known? Then use that strength to defend, not to conquer? Kakashi urged. You have the potential to change this village, to show them what true strength means. Naruto paused, the words resonating deep within him. He could feel the Hulk's presence shift, no longer just a monster, but an ally in his quest for power and understanding. I'll show them, he said, determination hardening his resolve. I'll show them that I am the strongest. I'll make them respect me. With newfound purpose, Naruto raised his hand, the emerald energy coalescing around him. From now on, I'll protect what's mine. And if they stand in my way, I will crush them. And as he'd embraced the full force of his power, the winds of change began to stir. Konoha would witness a new era under Naruto Uzumaki, the world breaker, who would either protect him from darkness or plunge him into an abyss of despair. The rising tide. As Naruto took flight, soaring above the village, he felt invincible. The world stretched out beneath him, full of opportunities to prove himself, to claim the respect he had always desired. He knew he could dominate the shinobi world, becoming not just a player but the one who dictated the rules. The village below looked small, insignificant against the backdrop of his immense power. No one will stand in my way, he muttered, the fire of ambition burning bright within him. But as he soared through the skies, a sense of unease crept in. He could feel the eyes of the world watching, and he knew that those who feared him would be quick to act. They would conspire, plot, and seek to bring him down. And yet, the thrill of his potential was intoxicating. With each passing moment, Naruto's confidence grew. The fear that had once shackled him was now replaced by a burgeoning desire for dominion. He would not be a pawn, he would be the master of his fate. The shadows of the past. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the village, a group of figures convened. Danzo and his rude operators watched the spectacle from a distance, their eyes calculating. We must strike first, Danzo declared. If we allow him to gather power, we risk everything. He must be contained before he can unite the shinobi under his rule. But how? One of the operatives questioned. He's stronger than anyone we've faced. Even the Hokage may not stand a chance. Danzo's expression hardened. Then we'll employ the last resort. If Naruto has become a threat to the village, we must eliminate him before it's too late. As they plotted, Naruto continued to survey the horizon, the villagers' lives now mere pawns in his game. They had underestimated his resolve, and he would make them pay for their folly. The dawn of destruction. And so, the stage was set for a conflict that would shake the very foundations of the shinobi world. Naruto, the world breaker, had awakened not just a primal force within himself but a new purpose. With every breath, he embraced a darkness that lurked at the edge of his mind, a powerful ally in his quest for supremacy. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of crimson, Naruto grinned, the shadows of his past finally merging with the titan he had become. "This is just the beginning," he whispered, a promise to himself and a threat to all who dared oppose him. The world would soon learn that Naruto Uzumaki, once a lolly boy with dreams of recognition, had transformed into something far greater, an unstoppable force destined to claim his place at the pinnacle of power. As dawn broke over Kanata, the village lay in ruins, its streets littered with debris from the previous night's confrontation. Naruto soared above the wreckage, the wind rushing past him, invigorating and empowering. The remnants of the village were a stark reminder of the chaos he had wrought, but beneath the thrill of his newfound strength lay a deeper, more complex purpose. Naruto surveyed the village, a slight smirk tugging at his lips. "They'll learn to respect me," he mused, the taste of power intoxicating. Yet, even amidst his triumph, shadows of doubt crept into his mind. He had chosen this path, but would he truly be able to control the darkness that lurked within? The council's reckoning. Meanwhile, the Konoha Council convened in a hurried emergency session, faces drawn tight with concern and fear. Danzo's voice cut through the tense air. "We can no longer afford to underestimate Naruto. He has become a threat to the stability of the village. We must take decisive action." Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, looked weary, a mixture of sadness and resolve in his eyes. "Naruto has always had a difficult path, but we cannot simply destroy him. He is a child of this village, and there may still be hope to bring him back." "But what if he cannot be brought back?" Tsunade interjected, her brow furrowed with worry. "We've seen what he can do. If we don't act now, he could become a tyrant, a ruler who fears no one." "Then we must prepare a team," Kakashi suggested, standing at the forefront. "If we can reach him before he fully embraces the darkness, we might still save him." "What if he attacks us again?" Shikamaru mused, scratching his head. "We need a plan that will allow us to contain him without causing more destruction. We cannot let him roam free," Danzo insisted. "The longer we wait, the more powerful he becomes. We need to gather our strongest fighters, those who can stand against him." The council debated fiercely, their voices rising as they weighed the risk of confronting Naruto against the dire consequences of inaction. Ultimately, they agreed to assemble a team to confront Naruto, but deep down, they all felt a heavy burden of uncertainty. The gathering forces. As the council debated, Naruto descended to the remains of the village's training grounds, where he had once spent countless hours honing his skills. Memories of his early training, the laughter of his friends, and the dreams of becoming Hokage flooded his mind. But they were now tainted by the bitter taste of betrayal. "Why did they have to fear me?" he questioned, the question echoing in the depths of his mind. A low rumble of thunder interrupted his thoughts. Dark clouds began to gather, mirroring the turmoil within him. "No more running," he muttered. "No more hiding in the shadows. I will claim what's mine." Feeling the power surging within him, he called upon the Hulk's might, channeling it to increase his physical strength and chakra. The ground shook beneath his feet as he unleashed a pulse of energy that obliterated what remained of the training grounds. The villagers, witnessing the display from a distance, recoiled in fear and confusion. "What do we do?" a villager shouted. "He's gone mad. He's our only hope," another countered. "If he harnesses this power, we could be invincible." Naruto's name rippled through the village, a whispered indication of fear and awe. He was no longer just a boy, he had become a living legend, one that could either protect them or lead them into ruin. The confrontation with Sasuke. As Naruto reveled in his strength, Sasuke prepared to face him again, understanding that the stakes had risen higher than ever. With each passing moment, he felt the urgency to reach Naruto before it was too late. Sakura, gather the others. We need to make sure everyone is ready for whatever happens next, he instructed, his voice steady despite the tumult of emotions within him. Right. Sakura nodded, determination gleaming in her eyes. We can't let Naruto go any further down this path. Meanwhile, Naruto remained at the training grounds, his dark aura radiating outward like a beacon. It wasn't long before Sasuke and the assembled team approached him, their faces a mixture of resolve and trepidation. Stay back, Sasuke. You don't understand. Naruto warned, the Hulk's power flaring just beneath the surface. I'm not the same kid you used to know. Sasuke stepped forward, a mixture of regret and determination in his eyes. I know you're still in there, Naruto. You don't have to do this. We can still help you. Naruto's expression hardened. Help? You think I need help? You're just as weak as the others. I've surpassed all of you. I'm not here to fight you. Sasuke shouted, his voice echoing against the rebel. I'm here to save you. At that moment, Naruto's emotions swirled. Anger, betrayal, and an old spark of camaraderie clashed within him. Save me? From what? My power? I've finally embraced who I am. The ground beneath them shook as Naruto called upon the Hulk's might, ready to unleash his full strength. But Sasuke was resolute. If it's a fight you want, then I won't back down. But I'll do whatever it takes to bring you back. The battle begins. With that declaration, Sasuke charged forward, the Chidori crackling in his hand as heating for Naruto. The two collided with a thunderous impact, the shockwave radiating outwards, sending debris flying. Naruto countered, his fists moving with blinding speed as he struck back with immense power. The two engaged in a brutal exchange, Sasuke's agility and skill clashing against Naruto's raw strength. The village watched, a collective breath held as they witnessed the battle of titans unfold before them. Sasuke. Sakura shouted, her heart racing as she watched her friends clash. You can't let him win. Don't worry. I won't give up. Sasuke responded, channeling his determination as he executed a series of rapid attacks. Naruto, please. Remember our training. Remember who you are. But Naruto, fueled by the Hulk's relentless rage, pushed back, his strength seemingly unmatched. I don't need to remember. I'll create a new world, one where I'm feared and respected. As they fought, the air crackled with energy, each blow echoing the fierce struggle of wills. For every strike Sasuke landed, Naruto retaliated with crushing force, sending his friend flying. The fractured bonds. The battle intensified, the ground beneath them cracking and splintering under the weight of their power. But deep within, Naruto struggled with the vestiges of his former self, memories of friendship clashing with the insatiable hunger for domination that surged through him. In the chaos of battle, Sasuke began to tap into his own power, awakening the full potential of his Sharingan. I won't lose to you, Naruto. I'll protect the bonds we've built. But Naruto could feel the darkness rising within him, the Hulk urging him to give in to the rage. Bonds? They've only ever held me back, he shouted, his fist slamming down, causing the ground to erupt around him. With a momentary lull in the battle, Naruto paused, caught in the dichotomy of his existence. The memories of their past together flooded back, the laughter, the promises, the dreams of becoming Hokage. It was a flicker of light in the overwhelming darkness. Sasuke, seeing the hesitation, pressed forward. Naruto. Fight it. You're stronger than this. But the Hulk roared in defiance, pushing against the walls of Naruto's consciousness. They will betray you. Show them your true strength. Show them what it means to be feared. The struggle reached a fever pitch, and Naruto found himself on the edge of an abyss. The darkness was tantalizing, promising power beyond imagination, but at what cost? A moment of clarity. In that moment of chaos, Naruto's gaze locked onto Sasuke's, and something shifted within him. The anger began to fade, replaced by a desperate desire to reclaim the boy he once was. "I don't want to lose myself," Naruto shouted, the internal battle raging on. "I want to be more than just a monster." "Then fight it," Sasuke shouted back, desperation in his voice. "You have the power to choose. You can embrace this strength without losing who you are." Naruto's heart raced, the weight of his decisions crashing down around him. He could feel the Hulk's presence, powerful and demanding, but he also felt the warmth of the bonds he had forged. "I am not just a weapon," he yelled, his voice filled with determination. "I refuse to let this power consume me." In a blinding flash, Naruto unleashed a surge of energy, channeling the Hulk's might and his own resolve into a single, focused blast. The energy erupted from him, engulfing the battlefield in a radiant light that seemed to push back the darkness. The awakening of power. The overwhelming force of his chakra resonated throughout Konoha, momentarily stunning everyone in its wake. The energy crackled and twisted, forming a cocoon around Naruto. As the light faded, he stood transformed, not just a being of raw power but as a symbol of hope and determination. The green auras shimmered, now infused with a brighter essence, a fusion of the Hulk's strength and Naruto's will. The ground quaked beneath him as he unleashed his full potential, the clouds parting above, revealing the sun's light. "I am Naruto Uzumaki," he declared, his voice booming, a mixture of power and clarity. "I will protect my village, but on my own terms." The onlookers, initially fearful, began to feel a renewed sense of hope. Sasuke stared in awe, witnessing the battle within Naruto finally tip in favor of his true self. "I believe in you, Naruto," Sasuke shouted, determination rekindling within him. "Let's fight together." With newfound clarity and purpose, Naruto nodded, ready to embrace his destiny as both a powerful force and a protector of his village. He had harnessed the darkness but chose to wield it for the sake of those he cared about. The new alliance. With a renewed sense of purpose, Naruto turned to face Sasuke, the tension between them dissipating. "We can be unstoppable," he said, a fierce determination igniting in his eyes. "But we must work together." Sasuke smirked, the weight of doubt lifting. "I wouldn't have it any other way." The remnants of the battle fell silent, the villagers watching with a mix of awe and relief as the two former rivals stood united. Together, they would navigate the challenges ahead, confronting the shadows of their past while forging a new future. "Let's show them the true power of Konoha," Naruto declared, energy radiating from him like a beacon. And as the sun rose higher in the sky, the villagers of Konoha began to believe in a new narrative, a tale of redemption, strength, and the enduring power of friendship that could triumph over even the darkest of paths. With the shadows of his past fading, Naruto Uzumaki embraced his destiny as both the world breaker and a guardian of his village, ready to face whatever trials awaited them in the ever-changing landscape of the shinobi world. The peaceful resolve of Konoha was deceptive, for the forces that feared Naruto's transformation were already mobilizing. The council had made their decision, and dark plots were already afoot. As the sun set, whispers of treachery and fear echoed through the village, and the shadows began to stir once more. Little did Naruto know that a true test of his newfound power was only beginning. The world would soon be reminded that strength alone does not dictate destiny, and the bonds forged in battle would be both his greatest weapon and his most dangerous vulnerability. The saga of Naruto Uzumaki, the World Breaker, had only just begun. And with it came the promise of conflict, chaos, and a journey that would either redefine him as a god among men or plunge him into the depths of despair. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the village of Konoha was bathed in hues of orange and purple, masking the tension that simmered just beneath the surface. The council's plans began to take shape, each member weighing their options with the gravity of their decisions weighing heavily upon them. In a dimly lit chamber, Danzo stood at the forefront, his gaze unwavering. "We cannot allow this to continue," he urged, his voice a low growl. "Naruto is no longer just a rogue ninja, he's a force of nature, one that threatens the very fabric of our village." Tsunade crossed her arms, frustration bubbling beneath her calm exterior. You're right, Danzo, but killing him is not the answer. He has the potential to be a protector, not a destroyer. Potential? Danzo scoffed. Power like his only brings destruction. We need to act before he turns against us completely. We need to find a way to neutralize him. Sakura, who had been silently observing, finally spoke up, her voice steady yet firm. If you think that killing him will solve our problems, you're wrong. We need to reach out to him. He's still our friend. Friend? Danzo's voice dripped with contempt. That friend has become a weapon. We should consider using a more decisive approach. Hiruzen intervened, his voice calm but resolute. We will not resort to killing our own. We need to understand what drives Naruto and how we can guide him back. We need to assemble a team, Kakashi suggested, his eyes sharp with determination. If we can approach him with the right mindset, we may be able to remind him of who he truly is. Danzo shook his head in frustration. You're all blinded by your emotions. This is not a matter of friendship. This is survival. We must be prepared for the worst. Tension filled the room as the council deliberated, each member aware of the stakes at hand. Naruto's transformation had set off alarms throughout the village, and the need for action grew more urgent by the hour. The search for allies. Meanwhile, Naruto stood atop the Hokage monument, overlooking the village with a fierce resolve. The overwhelming power coursing through him felt exhilarating, but he knew it also came with its burdens. As he gazed at the familiar streets below, memories of his childhood flooded back, intertwining with his new identity. I won't let them bring me down, he declared to the wind, feeling the Hulk's power radiating from him. I'm not the same Naruto they once knew. But beneath that bravado lay a flicker of doubt. Would he be able to control this power? Would he be able to keep the darkness at bay? As if answering his silent questions, a sudden surge of chakra caught his attention. From the shadows, a familiar figure emerged. Shikamaru Nara. Hey, Naruto, he said, his tone casual but serious. I thought I'd find you here? What do you want, Shikamaru? Naruto replied, his voice laced with indifference. Just wanted to see how you're doing, Shikamaru said, leaning against the stone of the monument. Things have changed, and I thought you might need a friend. Naruto scoffed, turning away. I don't need anyone's help. I'm beyond all that. Shikamaru raised an eyebrow, unconvinced. Is that so? You're saying you want to do this alone? You're making a mistake, Naruto. Naruto's fists clenched, the Hulk's rage bubbling just beneath the surface. A mistake? You think I'm the one making mistakes? Listen, Shikamaru began, his voice steady. You have power now, but that doesn't mean you have to abandon who you are. You can still protect Konoha without losing yourself to the darkness. Naruto paused, grappling with Shikamaru's words. What if I can't control it? What if I hurt the people I care about? Shikamaru shrugged, his expression thoughtful. Then you have to rely on your friends. That's what we're here for. We want to help you, but you have to let us in. A rift of trust. Naruto felt a flicker of warmth at Shikamaru's words, but the shadows of doubt remained. I don't know if I can trust anyone anymore. Then start with me, Shikamaru said, unwavering. I know we can't change what's happened, but we can change what happens next. Let's work together to make sure you don't lose control. Naruto's resolve wavered as he searched Shikamaru's eyes, seeing the sincerity in his friend's gaze. You really believe in me, don't you? Of course I do, Shikamaru replied, a small smile breaking through his serious demeanor. We're all counting on you, Naruto. Just remember, you don't have to carry this burden alone. In that moment, something shifted within Naruto. The darkness still loomed, but it felt less suffocating. He nodded slowly, acceptance dawning on him. Okay, I'll try. But if it gets too dangerous, I won't hesitate to unleash everything I have. Shikamaru grinned. That's all we ask for. Just promise you won't go off the deep end. As Naruto looked out over the village once more, he felt a new sense of purpose. Together then. We'll figure this out. The call to action. With a newfound resolve, Naruto and Shikamaru returned to the village, where the council had finally reached a decision. They needed to reach Naruto before he was overwhelmed by his power, and a plan was set into motion. Gather the others, Kakashi instructed, looking at Shikamaru and Naruto. We'll need every capable ninja if we're going to confront him. As the team assembled, Naruto felt a mixture of anxiety and anticipation. Could he truly control this power? Could he protect those he cared about? When the team was finally gathered, Tsunade addressed him with seriousness. Naruto has become a powerful force, one that we cannot ignore. We need to approach him carefully, offering him a path back to the light. Kakashi nodded. We'll need to be ready for anything. If he sees us as enemies, we won't have a chance. Sasuke stepped forward, determination written across his face. I'll make sure he listens to me. We've fought together before, I know we can reach him. As they prepared for the confrontation, a sense of unity began to bloom. Together, they would face the challenges ahead, armed with their bond and a shared hope of reclaiming Naruto's heart from the shadows. The gathering storm. As the team made their way toward Naruto's position, they felt the winds shift ominously. Dark clouds began to gather overhead, a harbinger of the turmoil that lay ahead. The air crackled with tension, mirroring the conflict that brewed within Naruto. When they finally approached the training grounds, the devastation was evident. Trees had been uprooted, the earth scorched from the earlier conflict. And at the center stood Naruto, an imposing figure radiating power, the remnants of his rage still swirling around him. As they stepped forward, Naruto turned to face them, his expression a mixture of defiance and uncertainty. You shouldn't have come here, he warned, the Hulk's energy flickering dangerously at the edges of his aura. Sasuke stepped forward, determination etched on his face. Naruto, we're not here to fight you. We want to help. Help? Naruto echoed, his voice a low growl. What can you possibly do for me? You're just as weak as the rest. Strength isn't everything, Shikamaru interjected, his tone calm yet firm. You don't have to bear this alone. We're your friends, and we'll fight by your side. Naruto's eyes flickered with uncertainty, a moment of hesitation breaking through the wall of rage that had enveloped him. You don't understand, he replied, his voice shaking. I'm not the same anymore. I can't control it. But you can. Sakura pleaded, stepping forward. You have to believe that you can. We believe in you. The ground trembled beneath their feet as the storm overhead raged, mirroring the conflict within Naruto. The flicker of doubt returned, battling against the overwhelming presence of the Hulk's anger. The true battle begins. As Naruto wrestled with his inner turmoil, a chilling silence fell over the battlefield. The tension was palpable, and the outcome of this confrontation hung in a balance. In that moment, Naruto felt the weight of his decisions pressing down on him. Would he succumb to the darkness, or could he harness this power for the good of his village? You can't do this alone, Sasuke urged, his voice cutting through the storm. You're stronger when you fight with us. Together, we can overcome anything. With a surge of clarity, Naruto felt a flicker of the bonds he once held dear. They had always believed in him, even when he couldn't believe in himself. I don't want to hurt anyone, he finally admitted, the Hulk's presence dimming just slightly. We're here for you, Naruto, Shikamaru said, stepping closer. Whatever happens, we'll face it together. Naruto looked at his friends, their expressions unwavering, and felt a wave of emotions crashing over him. The anger began to dissipate, replaced by a deep-seated longing for connection, for acceptance. I don't want to be alone anymore, he said softly, his voice breaking. I want to protect this village, but I don't know how. As the storm began to calm, a newfound energy coursed through him, one that combined the Hulk's raw strength with Naruto's unwavering will. I will control this power, he declared, determination igniting within him. I will not let it consume me. With a roar that echoed through the valley, Naruto unleashed his power, the energy swirling around him like a tempest, but this time, it felt different, more balanced, more in tune with who he was. The storm faded, and the sun began to break through the clouds as Naruto stood tall, no longer just a vessel for rage but a beacon of hope for Kanata. The bonds of friendship forged anew, ready to face whatever darkness awaited them on the horizon. The saga of Naruto Uzumaki, the World Breaker, was far from over. But for the first time, he understood that he didn't have to walk this path alone. Together, they would face the trials that awaited, united in purpose, strength, and an unbreakable bond. With a storm of conflict behind them, Kanata's light began to shine brighter than ever. But unbeknownst to Naruto and his friends, dark forces were already at play, plotting to take advantage of the turmoil that had engulfed the village. In a hidden lair far from the prying eyes of the village, a figure cloaked in shadows watched the events unfold through a crystal ball. Orochimaru, with his ever-conniving mind, had witnessed Naruto's transformation, and it intrigued him. Such raw power, he mused, a wicked smile spreading across his face. It would be a shame to let it go to waste. But I think it's time to remind Kanata of its fragility. As he delved deeper into his plans, Naruto's fate became intertwined with the very darkness he had fought against. The whispers of shadows grew louder, a chilling omen of the challenges that lay ahead. The true battle for Konoha was only just beginning, and Naruto Uzumaki, the World Breaker, would soon find himself at the center of a storm that would test his resolve, strength, and the bonds he had forged. And as the sun set over Konoha, the village unknowingly prepared for the greatest test of their unity, a confrontation that would either forge them into legends or shatter them into fragments of despair. The stage was set, and the players were in motion. The rise of the shadows had begun. As the days passed in Konoha, the village began to heal from the chaos that had erupted during Naruto's struggle for control. While the air buzzed with a renewed sense of hope and unity, the scars of conflict lingered. The council had agreed to allow Naruto more freedom, recognizing that their best chance for peace lay in supporting him rather than casting him aside. However, the quiet was deceptive. Orochimaru's machinations had already set into motion, and as night fell over the village, the dark figure of Kabuto Yakushi moved through the shadows, his purpose clear. The pieces are in place, he murmured to himself, a sly grin spreading across his face. Naruto's power is an opportunity, one we cannot afford to ignore. In a hidden underground lair, Orochimaru convened with his most loyal followers. The village is too complacent, he said, his voice smooth and unsettling. It's time to remind them of their weaknesses. We will exploit Naruto's newfound strength to sow discord. Kabuto nodded, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. We can manipulate his emotions, turn his friends against him. Once they doubt him, he will be ours. As they plotted, a shadowy figure stood at the back of the room, listening intently. Zetsu, the plant-based Akatsuki member, awaited his moment to intervene. You might want to consider how the Akatsuki will respond to your little scheme, he interjected. They've been watching Konoha's unrest closely. If we are to proceed, we must be careful. Let them watch, Orochimaru replied dismissively. They are focused on acquiring the tailed beasts. Naruto is of no concern to them yet. Our aim is to use his power against the village, and then we will see who truly holds the upper hand. In the heart of Konoha, Naruto spent his days training with Sasuke, Shikamaru, and Sakura, pushing the limits of his newfound abilities. Together, they honed their skills, forging a bond stronger than any they had experienced before. A day of training. Come on, Naruto. Focus. Sasuke shouted, watching as Naruto struggled to control his immense chakra. Easy for you to say. Naruto grunted, sweat pouring down his brow as he attempted to concentrate. I have never had this much power before. It feels like it's constantly swirling inside me. Try to visualize it, Shikamaru suggested, folding his arms. Imagine it as a river. You need to guide the flow, not let it sweep you away. Naruto paused, taking a deep breath as he considered Shikamaru's words. He closed his eyes, envisioning the raging current inside him. With determination, he pictured it calming, finding its rhythm. Slowly, the green aura around him stabilized, forming a more controlled sphere of energy. He opened his eyes, grinning at his friends. I think I got it. Good. Now let's see if you can channel that energy into a jutsu, Sakura said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Show us your raised Nan. All right. Naruto shouted, channeling the chakra into his hand. The swirling energy began to take shape, but as he formed the jutsu, the ground shook violently beneath him. The sudden upheaval knocked them all off balance, and Naruto stumbled back, a frown on his face. What was that? I don't know, Sasuke said, scanning the horizon. It felt like an explosion, but it didn't come from anywhere nearby. As they rushed to investigate, the atmosphere thickened with a sense of foreboding. Naruto's heart raced, he could feel the stirring of ominous energy in the air. The call to action. When they reached the outskirts of Kanata, the sight before them sent chills down their spines. A massive crater had formed in the ground, trees uprooted and debris scattered everywhere. In the center of it all stood a lone figure, shrouded in darkness. Who dares disturb my peace? The figure boomed, his voice resonating like thunder. Naruto stepped forward, the Hulk's power flaring to life around him. Who are you? He demanded, his tone fierce and unyielding. The figure stepped into the light, revealing a tall, menacing man with a sinister smile. Orochimaru. Ah, Naruto Uzumaki. The World Breaker, he said, his voice dripping with mockery. I've been waiting for you. Why are you here, Orochimaru? Sasuke spat, his Sharingan activated, ready for a fight. Such hostility? Orochimaru exclaimed, feigning innocence. I merely wish to introduce myself and remind you of your vulnerabilities. This village you protect, what would happen if its protector was turned against it? A flicker of unease crossed Naruto's face, but he quickly masked it with determination. You won't manipulate me, Orochimaru. I won't let you. Orochimaru chuckled, the sound chilling. Oh, but I believe you will. You see, power is a tempting thing, and your friends will be the key to unlocking your true potential. With a swift motion, Orochimaru unleashed a wave of dark chakra, swirling around him like a tempest. In an instant, several figures appeared from the shadows, his sound for, ready to engage in battle. Prepare yourselves. Naruto shouted, the Hulk's energy surging within him, filling him with unyielding strength. As the battle commenced, Naruto felt the familiar rush of adrenaline. He charged at the nearest enemy, his fists glowing with power, ready to prove that he would not back down from this challenge. A battle for Kanata. The confrontation was fierce. Sasuke and Sakura fought side by side, their teamwork as precise as ever. Shikamaru, ever the strategist, directed them, utilizing shadows to trap their enemies. Naruto unleashed a flurry of punches, each strike sending shockwaves through the air. The power of the Hulk merged with his chakra, creating explosions of energy that scattered Orochimaru's minions. Is that all you've got? He taunted, his voice booming as he sent a massive punch into one of the sound ninjas, sending him flying. But Orochimaru's forces were relentless. They swarmed around Naruto, attempting to pin him down. You're strong, but strength alone won't save you, one of the Sound Four taunted, their eyes gleaming with malice. Maybe not, Naruto replied, gritting his teeth as he fought him off. But I have something you don't, my friends. With a surge of energy, he called upon his teammates. Sasuke. Now. Sasuke nodded, channeling his Sharingan to amplify Naruto's strength. Raise Nan, he shouted, thrusting his hand forward as Naruto channeled the energy into a spiraling sphere of chakra, launching it at their foes. The jutsu exploded with tremendous force, scattering the enemies in every direction. The tide of battle shifted, and Naruto could feel the exhilaration of teamwork coursing through him. But Orochimaru was not finished yet. This is just the beginning, Naruto, he sneered, summoning a wave of dark energy that surged toward the team. I will tear apart everything you hold dear. The turning point. As the wave approached, Naruto felt the darkness creeping back into his heart, threatening to overwhelm him. He could hear the whispers of doubt, the fears that had haunted him since gaining this power. "No," he shouted, clenching his fists. "I won't let you take control." In that moment, the energy inside him erupted, surging outwards in a brilliant green light that illuminated the battlefield. The Hulk's rage intertwined with his determination, creating a force unlike any they had seen before. As the light burst forth, Naruto directed it at the incoming wave, and the two forces collided in a spectacular explosion. The ground shook, and the air crackled with energy. When the dust settled, Naruto stood tall, surrounded by his friends, each of them bolstered by the surge of his power. "Together, we can be stopped." With renewed vigor, they launched their final assault on Orochimaru and the Sound Four, an unstoppable force united in purpose. As they fought, the shadows that had threatened to consume Naruto began to recede, replaced by the warmth of friendship and camaraderie. He had not only harnessed his strength but had also embraced the bonds that connected them all. A glimmer of hope. As the battle raged on, the sound of clashing jutsu and cries filled the air. Naruto felt invincible, channeling the Hulk's strength through every punch and kick. But just when victory seemed within reach, Orochimaru unleashed a last-ditch attack, summoning a monstrous snake that coiled around him. "You think you've won? This is only a taste of my true power." Naruto narrowed his eyes, determination blazing within him. "I won't let you hurt anyone else." With a battle cry, he charged at the snake, channeling all of his energy into a single, devastating punch. "This ends now." The impact was colossal, shaking the ground beneath them as the snake was obliterated in an explosion of energy. As the dust settled, Orochimaru stumbled back, surprise etched on his face. You can't be this strong," he hissed, fear creeping into his voice. "Oh, but I am," Naruto replied, a sinister grin forming on his lips. "And you're about to learn why they call me the World Breaker?" With one final strike, he sent Orochimaru flying, a powerful energy pulse riddling through the air. The remnants of the Sound Four fell silent, the battlefield quieting as victory settled over Kanata. Aftermath. As the dust settled, Naruto stood tall, his friends at his side, victorious. But a shadow still loomed over their heads, a reminder that the battle against darkness was far from over. "What now?" Sakura asked, her breath coming in short gasps. Naruto looked out over Kanata, his heart racing with a mix of pride and apprehension. "Now we prepare," he said, a new sense of purpose igniting within him. "We need to be ready for whatever comes next. I won't let anyone take this village away from me." Shikamaru nodded, a glint of admiration in his eyes. "We'll face it together, right?" "Always," Naruto affirmed, feeling the weight of his friend's support behind him. In the days that followed, they trained harder than ever, forging their skills and their bonds into an unbreakable force. The dark clouds that had threatened Konoha began to lift, but whispers of Orochimaru's plans still lingered in the air. And in the shadows, figures watched, plotting their next move, waiting for the right moment to strike. But Naruto had changed, and so had his friends. They were no longer just a team, they had become something greater, a family. As they stood together on the rooftops of Kanata, watching the sun rise over the horizon, Naruto felt the power of the Hulk within him, the darkness tempered by the light of friendship. No matter what challenges lay ahead, he would face them head-on, not as a vessel of destruction, but as a protector of all that he held dear. With the dawn of a new day, the stage was set for the next chapter of their saga, and Naruto Uzumaki, the World Breaker, was ready to embrace it all. As Konoha embraced a newfound peace, Naruto's training intensified. Each day felt like a step closer to mastering the chaos within him, but with every advance came the shadows of his enemies lurking closer than ever. Despite the village's recovery, a sense of unease hung in the air, like a storm brewing just out of sight. The sun shone brightly on Konoha as Naruto and his friends gathered at their usual training ground. The laughter of children playing nearby served as a reminder of what they were fighting to protect. "Okay, Naruto, show us what you've got," Sakura called out, her fists clenched, ready for another spar. "Right. Let's do this." Naruto replied, excitement bubbling within him. He could feel the raw energy coursing through his veins, fueling his every movement. He dashed forward, launching a flurry of punches at Sakura, who deftly dodged and countered. Sasuke watched, arms crossed, a hint of a smirk on his face. You've improved, but you're still too reckless. Focus your chakra. Naruto grinned, his confidence shining through. I'll show you focus. He channeled the Hulk's energy, his aura flaring as he prepared for a powerful Rasengan. But before he could unleash it, a loud crack resonated through the air, halting their training. The ground shook beneath them, and the trees rustled ominously. What was that? Shikamaru asked, his brow furrowing as he looked around. Let's check it out. Naruto shouted, his instincts kicking in. The group rushed toward the source of the disturbance, their hearts racing with anticipation. The arrival of the Akatsuki. As they approached the outskirts of the village, they found a massive crater, the earth scorched and smoking. A dark figure emerged from the shadows, flanked by several other figures clad in black cloaks, members of the Akatsuki. Looks like we are not alone, Sasuke said, his eyes narrowing at the sight. One of the figures stepped forward, his long hair cascading over his shoulders. It was Deidara, his expression as smug as ever. Well, if it isn't the little heroes of Konoha. What a lovely little village you have here. It would be a shame if something were to happen to it. Deidara. Naruto shouted, feeling the surge of rage bubbling within him. What do you want? I think you know why we're here, Deidara replied, a glint of madness in his eyes. We're after the Nine Tails, and you're just the host we need. As the Akatsuki members closed in, Naruto felt the familiar pull of the Hulk's power. He clenched his fists, channeling that rage, ready to unleash it against their enemies. You'll have to get through me first. Such confidence, another Akatsuki member sneered. It was Haiden, brandishing his scythe, his eyes gleaming with a twisted sense of excitement. I'd love to see you try. Enough talk. Naruto roared, launching himself at Deidara, fists glowing with chakra. I won't let you take my village. A clash of titans. The battle erupted with explosive intensity. Naruto's punches tore through the air, a whirlwind of power as he unleashed a barrage of strikes at Deidara. The Akatsuki member dodged with ease, summoning clay creatures to counter Naruto's ferocity. Explosive clay. Deidara shouted, launching a swarm of clay bombs toward Naruto. With a fierce growl, Naruto channeled the Hulk's strength, swatting the bombs aside with immense force. The resulting explosions rocked the ground, sending shockwaves through the area. Stay focused, Naruto. Shikamaru called out, quickly strategizing their next move. We can't let them separate us. Sakura leaped into action, using her medical jutsu to heal minor injuries while also attacking with swift punches, her chakra-infused strikes aimed at the other members. Sasuke, meanwhile, activated his Sharingan, preparing to engage Haiden. You won't get the chance to lay a finger on him, he declared, throwing shuriken at the crazed ninja. Haiden laughed maniacally, dodging effortlessly. You think you can stop me? I'm immortal. Immortal or not, I'll take you down. Sasuke shouted, his resolve unwavering. The clash intensified, each member of Konoha fighting with everything they had. The ground shook beneath them, but Naruto's focus remained unbroken. The turning tide. As the battle raged on, Deidara became frustrated with Naruto's tenacity. I'll just have to blow you to pieces, he exclaimed, summoning a massive clay bird. Get ready for a real fight, he shouted, launching the bird toward Naruto. In that moment, Naruto felt the Hulk's rage flare to life, an overwhelming wave of energy surging through him. You think that can stop me, he roared, charging forward, his fists glowing with raw chakra. He leaped into the air, meeting the clay bird head-on. The impact was catastrophic, sending shockwaves rippling through the landscape. The explosion erupted, enveloping the area in a cloud of dust and debris. Look out! Shikamaru shouted, pulling his teammates back. But Naruto emerged from the dust, unscathed, the Hulk's power radiating from him in an overwhelming display. "Is that all you've got?" he bellowed, his voice echoing through the battlefield. With renewed determination, Naruto charged at Deidara, launching a series of rapid punches. The Akatsuki member struggled to keep up, panic creeping into his eyes. "Stop. You can't." Deidara began, but Naruto cut him off with a devastating punch, sending him flying into the air. "Get down!" Haiden yelled, slashing his scythe toward Naruto. But before Haiden could strike, Sasuke intervened. "You won't touch him." He unleashed a torrent of fire jutsu, engulfing Haiden in flames. "Gah!" Haiden shouted, stumbling back. "You'll pay for that." "Enough games!" Naruto shouted, his voice laced with the Hulk's ferocity. "This ends now." The final showdown. With a primal roar, Naruto unleashed the full extent of the Hulk's power, charging toward Deidara and Haiden with unmatched fury. The ground trembled beneath his feet as he closed the distance, fueled by rage and determination. "Raise Nan!" he shouted, forming the jutsu in his hand as he leaped into the air, aiming directly at Deidara. The impact was monumental, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. Deidara was sent crashing to the ground, the force of the blow knocking the wind out of him. Haiden, enraged and desperate, attempted to rise. "You'll regret this," he spat, but Sasuke was quick to respond. "Fire style, fireball jutsu!" Sasuke shouted, unleashing a massive fireball that engulfed Haiden, stopping him in his tracks. As the smoke cleared, Naruto stood tall, chest heaving with exertion. Deidara lay defeated at his feet, and Haiden was incapacitated by Sasuke's attack. "This is your last chance," Naruto shouted at the remaining Akatsuki members. "Leave now, or face the consequences." With fear evident in their eyes, the remaining members exchanged glances, recognizing the futility of their situation. One by one, they retreated, vanishing into the shadows, leaving their fallen comrades behind. Aftermath of victory. Breathing heavily, Naruto turned to his friends, a triumphant smile breaking across his face. "We did it." Sakura rushed to his side, her eyes wide with admiration. "You were incredible, Naruto." "Yeah, that was some serious power," Shikamaru added, crossing his arms with a smirk. Sasuke, still catching his breath, nodded in agreement. "You've grown stronger, Naruto. But we need to remain vigilant. They will come back." As they stood amidst the remnants of battle, a sense of camaraderie filled the air. They had faced an imminent threat together and emerged victorious. But deep down, Naruto knew that this was only the beginning. "Let's head back," he suggested, looking at the horizon. "We need to report this to the village elders." As they made their way back to Kanade, the bonds of their friendship felt stronger than ever. Naruto had embraced the power within him, and for the first time, he felt truly invincible, no longer just a vessel for rage, but a protector of all he held dear. A new path ahead. Back in the village, the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over Kanade. The villagers had witnessed the explosion and the battle but were unaware of the exact details. As Naruto and his friends approached the gates, they were greeted with relieved smiles and grateful cheers. "You did it, Naruto," a villager shouted, clapping him on the back. "Yeah. You really showed them," another exclaimed. Naruto couldn't help but feel a swell of pride as he acknowledged their praise. But in the back of his mind, a lingering unease remained. He knew that the Akatsuki wouldn't stop, and the next time, they might not be so fortunate. As night descended on Kanade, Naruto gathered with his friends at their usual spot, a small hill overlooking the village. They sat in a circle, the stars twinkling above them, a stark contrast to the chaos they had just endured. "We need to prepare for whatever comes next," Naruto said, his voice steady. "I won't let anyone harm this village." "We'll train harder," Sakura agreed, determination shining in her eyes. Sasuke nodded. "Together, we'll face any enemy?" As they planned their next steps, Naruto felt a sense of purpose igniting within him. The darkness he had once embraced now fueled his desire to protect his home, transforming him from a vessel of destruction into a beacon of hope. And as the moon cast its silver light over Kanata, Naruto Uzumaki, the world breaker, stood ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. With his friends at his side, he would forge a new path, one that would lead him deeper into the heart of darkness, but also closer to the light of friendship and loyalty. The battle may have been won, but the war was far from over. The world outside Konoha was rife with danger, and Naruto was prepared to face it all no matter the cost. The power of the Hulk surged within him, and with it, he would rise to meet his destiny, forging a legacy that would echo through the ages. As days turned into weeks, Konoha began to recover from the recent skirmish. The villagers returned to their routines, grateful for the bravery of Naruto and his friends. But beneath the surface of this apparent calm, an undercurrent of tension lingered. The Akatsuki's defeat was merely a pause in their sinister plans, and Naruto knew it. During a quiet evening, Naruto found himself at Tahokage Rock, gazing down at the village he had sworn to protect. The view was breathtaking, but a nagging feeling of unease gnawed at him. He could sense that darker forces were at play. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the air, bringing with it a voice that sent chills down his spine. Naruto Uzumaki? He turned sharply to find himself face to face with a figure cloaked in shadows. The air around them crackled with tension, and Naruto instinctively channeled the Hulk's energy, ready for battle. Who are you? Naruto demanded, his voice steady. I am a messenger of the Akatsuki, the figure replied, stepping into the moonlight. He revealed himself to be a tall man with a distinctive, deep voice, and a pair of piercing eyes that seemed to penetrate Naruto's very soul. My name is Pain. Naruto's heart raced. He had heard whispers of Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki, and the man behind the organization's schemes. What do you want? Pain's expression remained cold. You possess great power, Naruto. The Nine Tails is a valuable asset, and I have come to offer you a choice. I don't want anything from you. Naruto shot back, fists clenched. I'll never join you. Pain's gaze hardened. You misunderstand. I am not asking you to join me. I am offering you the chance to embrace your true power. To break free from the bonds of friendship and weakness that hold you back. The words struck a chord deep within Naruto. The Hulk's power surged at the thought of abandoning his ties to Kanata. Yet, the memory of his friends, their support, and the warmth of their camaraderie kept him anchored. I won't abandon them. Pain tilted his head, a faint smirk crossing his lips. Then prepare for the consequences of your choices. With that, Pain vanished into the shadows, leaving Naruto standing alone on the cliff, the weight of his words hanging in the air. The encounter left him shaken, and as he made his way back to the village, he couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle was just beginning. The calm before the storm. Over the next few days, Naruto kept his distance from his friends, mulling over Pain's words. He trained harder than ever, pushing the limits of his powers. The voice of the Hulk whispered in his mind, tempting him with promises of strength and dominance. Yet, each time he felt the urge to embrace that darkness, he recalled the faces of his friend Sakura's determination, Sasuke's loyalty, Shikamaru's strategic brilliance. He could not let them down. During one particularly intense training session, Naruto stood atop a hill, channeling the Hulk's energy as he focused on the target in front of him, a massive boulder. With a fierce roar, he charged forward, slamming his fist into the rock. The impact shattered the boulder into pieces, sending fragments flying in all directions. But in that moment of triumph, Naruto sensed a presence approaching. He turned to see Sasuke standing at the edge of the clearing, watching him with a critical eye. You're getting reckless, Naruto, Sasuke said, crossing his arms. You're not just training, you're losing yourself in that power. Naruto bristled at the comment. I'm just trying to get stronger. I can't let the village down. But at what cost? Sasuke pressed. You need to remember why you fight. It's not just for power, it's for the people you care about. Naruto's anger flared for a moment, but he quickly reined it in. I know that. But we are facing threats we've never dealt with before. I need to be ready for anything. Then let's train together, Sasuke suggested. We can push each other without losing ourselves. Don't forget the bonds that give you strength. Naruto took a deep breath, feeling the tension in his muscles ease. Yeah, you're right. Let's do it. An unexpected reunion. The following days saw Naruto and Sasuke training side by side, pushing each other to their limits while reminding one another of the importance of their friendship. They even enlisted Sakura and Shikamaru, forming a formidable team. Their camaraderie rekindled, Naruto felt a renewed sense of purpose. However, one evening, while training at the edge of the village, they were interrupted by a sudden commotion. A loud crash echoed from the direction of the village square. Let's check it out. Naruto shouted, sprinting toward the sound. As they arrived, they found a group of villagers gathered around a massive creature rampaging through the streets. It was a giant, summoned beast, a snake-like creature with scales shimmering in the sunlight. What the hell is that? Sakura exclaimed, her eyes wide with shock. I don't know, but we need to stop it. Naruto shouted, feeling the Hulk's energy bubbling to the surface. With newfound determination, he charged toward the beast, channeling the Hulk's power to enhance his speed. Raise Nan, he shouted, forming the jutsu in his hand as he launched himself at the creature. The impact was tremendous, but the creature barely staggered. It turned its gaze toward Naruto, hissing menacingly. That's not going to be enough, Sasuke said, assessing the situation. We need to work together. Right. Naruto agreed, nodding at his friends. As they strategized, Shikamaru quickly formulated a plan. Sakura, distracted with your jutsu. Sasuke, use your fire jutsu to weaken it, and Naruto, follow up with your strongest attack. The group sprang into action. Sakura dashed forward, using her medical ninjutsu to create a flurry of pink petals that disoriented the beast. Sasuke followed suit, unleashing a barrage of fireballs that scorched the creature's scales. Naruto seized the opportunity, channeling all of his energy into a massive Raise-Nan. With a primal roar, he launched himself at the beast once more, this time hitting it with the full force of the Hulk's power. The creature let out a deafening screech as the jutsu made contact, its body contorting in agony before finally collapsing to the ground. The villagers erupted in cheers, celebrating their hero's victory. A dangerous proposition. After the dust settled, Naruto and his friends caught their breath, adrenaline still coursing through their veins. But amidst the celebration, a chilling voice cut through the noise. Well done, little heroes. The group turned to see Pain standing before them, his expression as cold as ice. What do you want now? Naruto growled, a spark of anger igniting within him. I've come to offer you another chance, Naruto, Pain said, his gaze unwavering. Join me, and you can wield the power you desire. Together, we can reshape this world. I won't join you? Naruto shouted, stepping forward defiantly. I'll never betray my friends or my village. Pain's eyes narrowed. Then prepare for the consequences. You think you've won? This world will never be safe for those like you. With a flick of his wrist, Pain summoned his powers, unleashing a wave of energy that knocked Naruto and his friends back. Get back. Sasuke yelled, but it was too late. The world around him began to warp, and Naruto could feel the pressure of Pain's chakra closing in. No. I won't let you do this. In that moment, the Hulk's energy surged within him, a raw and overwhelming force that fueled his desire to protect his friends. With a primal roar, Naruto channeled the Hulk's power, pushing against the energy threatening to engulf them. You will not take this village, he shouted, unleashing a wave of raw energy that shattered Pain's hold over them. As the darkness dissipated, Pain's expression shifted from confidence to surprise. You're stronger than I anticipated, he admitted, his voice a low growl. But it won't be enough. With that, Pain vanished into the shadows, leaving Naruto and his friends panting in the aftermath of the confrontation. Reflections in a night. After the encounter, Naruto found himself once again on Hulk's rock, staring out at the village. The weight of Pain's words lingered in his mind, a reminder of the battles yet to come. Sasuke joined him, standing silently for a moment before speaking. "We need to be ready. He's not going to stop." "I know," Naruto replied, determination hardening in his chest. "But we'll face whatever comes together. I won't let anyone tear us apart." Sasuke nodded, the unspoken bond between them strengthening. They were allies, brothers in arms, ready to confront the darkness that loomed over Konoha. As the stars twinkled above, Naruto felt a surge of power within him, a blend of Hulk's rage and his own determination. He was no longer just a vessel for chaos, he was a guardian, ready to protect his home at all costs. With his friends by his side, Naruto was prepared to face the challenges ahead. The path would be fraught with danger, but he would embrace it all, strengthened by the bonds he had forged and fueled by the unyielding spirit of the Hulk. The storm was coming, and Naruto Uzumaki would stand at the forefront, ready to meet it head-on. The world may be filled with darkness, but as long as he had his friends, he would find a way to shine through it all. Days turned into weeks as Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Shikamaru prepared for the inevitable confrontation with the Akatsuki. Training sessions grew more intense, each member of Team 7 pushing themselves to their limits. With every spar, Naruto felt the Hulk's energy coursing through him, a raw power that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Despite the looming threat, life in Konoha continued, though an undercurrent of tension hung in the air. Whispers of the Akatsuki's nefarious plans spread throughout the village, causing unease among the citizens. Naruto could sense their fears and frustrations, fueling his resolve to protect them at all costs. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the village, Naruto found himself training alone near the edge of the training grounds. He unleashed powerful punches into the air, envisioning his enemy's defeat with every strike. Each blow was a reminder of his power, the world breaker, and the weight of the responsibility it carried. As he paused to catch his breath, he sensed a familiar presence approaching. It was Sakura, her brow furrowed with concern. "Hey, Naruto," she said, her voice soft. "You've been pushing yourself too hard. You need to take a break." "I can't," he replied, turning to face her. "I have to be ready for Pain and the Akatsuki. I won't let them hurt anyone else." Sakura stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. "I understand that, but you're not alone in this. We're all here to help you. You don't have to carry this burden by yourself." Naruto's expression softened, the warmth of her words breaking through the walls he had built around himself. "I know, but the power I have, it scares me. I don't want to hurt anyone." "You won't," Sakura reassured him. "You're stronger than you'd think. Trust in yourself, and trust in us." Her words resonated with him, reminding him of the bonds that anchored him. He took a deep breath, letting the tension seep away. "You're right. I need to remember why I fight." Suddenly, a commotion broke out nearby. Shouts echoed through the training grounds, pulling them back to the present. Without hesitation, Naruto and Sakura sprinted toward the source of the noise, adrenaline coursing through their veins. As they approached, they found a group of shinobi surrounding a wounded villager. The man was battered and bruised, a look of terror in his eyes. "Please. Help me," he cried. "The Akatsuki, they are coming." Naruto's heart raced. "What do you mean? What happened?" The villager struggled to speak, his breath ragged. "They attacked our village, took our people. They are coming for Konoha next." "No," Naruto muttered, a sense of dread creeping in. "Not again." Sakura knelt beside the villager, examining his wounds. "We need to get him to Tsunade," she urged, but Naruto was already thinking ahead. "Gather everyone," he commanded, his voice steady and authoritative. "We need to prepare the village for an attack. We can't let them catch us off guard." The gathering storm. The urgency of the situation propelled Naruto into action. Within moments, he had assembled a group of shinobi, relaying the information they had received. The village buzzed with a mix of fear and determination, each person acutely aware of the threat looming over them. "Listen up!" Naruto called out, standing atop a makeshift platform in a village square. "The Akatsuki are coming for us. We need to band together, protect our home, and prepare for the worst." The crowd responded with murmurs of agreement, and Naruto could feel their resolve. He turned to his friends, who stood by his side: Sasuke, Sakura, and Shikamaru. "We'll need to set up defenses and gather intelligence. Every shinobi must be on high alert. We should send scouts out to gather more information," Shikamaru suggested, his mind racing with strategies. "We need to know their numbers and intentions." "I'll go," Sasuke volunteered, determination etched on his face. "I can move quickly and gather intel without being detected." "Good idea," Naruto agreed. "Sakura, you stay with me. We need to coordinate our defenses. If they attack, I want everyone prepared." As they strategized, Naruto felt the weight of leadership pressing down on him. He had always dreamed of becoming Hokage, but this was a different kind of test. It was no longer about proving himself, it was about protecting those he loved. The calm before the tempest. Night fell, and the village of Konoha braced itself for the impending storm. Naruto patrolled the perimeter with Sakura, his senses heightened. He could feel the tension in the air, an electric charge that signaled the approach of danger. "Do you think we'll be ready?" Sakura asked, glancing at him. Naruto met her gaze, his eyes resolute. "We will be. I won't let anyone suffer because of me." As they continued their patrol, Naruto's thoughts drifted back to Pain's words. The allure of power tugged at him, whispering promises of strength and dominance. But he also felt the presence of his friends, anchoring him to his humanity. Suddenly, a shadow flickered in the distance, catching Naruto's attention. He turned sharply, instincts kicking in. "Did you see that?" Sakura nodded, her eyes wide. "Yeah. Over there." Without hesitation, they dashed toward the source, hearts pounding in unison. As they rounded a corner, they came face to face with a figure cloaked in black, a member of the Akatsuki. "Just as I thought," the figure said, a smirk playing on his lips. "You're not as prepared as you'd think, Naruto Uzumaki." Naruto's heart raced as recognition hit him. Deidara. The explosive artist stood before them, clay birds perched on his shoulders, eyes gleaming with malice. "I have come to deliver a message. Your time is running out." Before Naruto could respond, Deidara raised his hand, ready to unleash chaos. "I hope you enjoy the fireworks." In an instant, clay figures erupted from his hands, exploding into a barrage of deadly projectiles. "Get down!" Naruto shouted, pushing Sakura to the ground as he tapped into the Hulk's energy. The ground shook beneath him, and he surged forward, fists clenched. "Raise Nan!" he shouted, colliding with one of the explosive clay bombs mid-air. The resulting explosion rocked the area, but Naruto was unfazed, moving with a speed that defied the chaos around him. Sakura recovered quickly, her determination igniting as she unleashed her own jutsu. "We won't let you destroy our village." Deidara laughed, his voice dripping with arrogance. "You think you can stop me? I'm just a distraction." With that, he activated a massive clay golem behind him, its eyes glinting with menace. "Now, let's see how strong the World Breaker really is." The Battle of Konoha. The golem charged forward, its massive fist swinging with destructive intent. Naruto's instincts kicked in, and he dodged the first strike with agility that would have shot even the best shinobi. "Let's do this," he shouted to Sakura, and together they launched their counterattack. Cherry Blossom Impact. Sakura yelled, striking the golem with a powerful punch that sent shockwaves through the ground. But the golem barely staggered, turning its attention back to Naruto. "Get out of the way," he shouted, gathering the Hulk's energy within him. Raisin Shuriken. The jutsu whirled to life in his hand, pulsating with raw energy as he hurled it at the golem. The attack struck true, the explosion sending debris flying and shaking the earth beneath their feet. But Deidara was unfazed, launching more clay bombs from his hands. "You'll have to do better than that." As Naruto and Sakura fought off the barrage of explosive projectiles, they heard a familiar voice in the distance. "Naruto. Sakura. I'm back." Sasuke returned, breathless but determined. "I gathered intel. They are coming in force." Deidara's laughter cut him off. "You're too late. The real attack begins now." With a flourish, he summoned a flock of clay birds, sending them soaring into the night sky. "Prepare for an art explosion." "No," Naruto yelled, tapping deeper into the Hulk's power. "We won't let you destroy our village." In a moment of sheer will, he unleashed a primal roar that echoed through the night, shaking the very foundations of Kanata. The energy surged within him, amplifying his strength beyond comprehension. "Get back!" Naruto bellowed, a wave of raw power radiating from him. The air vibrated with energy, and he charged at Deidara, fists ready to strike. As he closed the distance, the explosive artist's eyes widened in fear. "No. You can't." But Naruto's fist connected with Deidara's jaw, sending him sprawling backward, the clay birds falling harmlessly to the ground. And shift in power. The impact sent shockwaves through the battlefield, and the onlookers gasped in shock. Naruto stood tall, the power of the Hulk manifesting in every fiber of his being. He felt invincible, and with that power coursing through him, he was ready to protect everything he cared about. Deidara struggled to his feet, anger flashing across his face. "You think you can defeat me? I'll show you real art." With a flick of his wrist, he unleashed a wave of explosive clay, but Naruto charged forward, uncaring of the danger. "Raise Nan!" he roared, striking through the wave of clay like a battering ram. The explosion erupted behind him as he plowed through the onslaught, fueled by his determination. Sakura and Sasuke stood by his side, forming a formidable front. Together, they unleashed their attacks in perfect harmony, fire, earth, and chakra clashing against Deidara's destructive arts. As the battle raged on, Naruto could feel the power within him reaching new heights. With every blow, every jutsu, he embraced the darkness threatening to overtake him, yet he remained anchored by the bonds he had forged with his friends. "Together!" Sasuke shouted, their voices echoing through the night. They charged as one, a force of nature united against the darkness. As Naruto unleashed a final, devastating attack, the explosion illuminated the night sky, signaling their triumph. The aftermath. As the smoke cleared, the villagers emerged, witnessing the destruction left in the wake of the battle. Naruto stood panting, heart racing as he looked at his friends. They had fought together, protecting their home from the brink of annihilation. But amidst the victory, a lingering dread settled over him. Deidara was defeated, but Pain and the Akatsuki were still out there, lurking in the shadows. Sakura placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, her eyes filled with admiration. "You did it, Naruto. We did it together." He smiled, but a part of him couldn't shake the feeling that the real fight was still ahead. "Yeah, but we need to prepare for what's coming." "I can feel it." Sasuke nodded in agreement, his expression serious. "We can't let our guard down. This isn't over." As they stood together, the weight of the world on their shoulders, Naruto felt a surge of determination. The bonds they had forged would be their strength. He wouldn't allow the darkness to consume him. And with that resolve, he turned his gaze toward the horizon, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The storm was far from over, but as long as he had his friends by his side, he would fight with everything he had. A new dawn. In the days that followed, Konoha began to rebuild. The villagers worked tirelessly to restore what had been lost, and Naruto found himself at the forefront of these efforts. He organized training sessions, reinforced defenses, and continued to hone his abilities, determined to become even stronger. But as he trained, the voice of the Hulk whispered in his mind, tempting him with promises of absolute power. Each time he felt the call, he reminded himself of the bonds that anchored him: Sakura, Sasuke, and Shikamaru, each of them a pillar of strength in their own right. One evening, As the sun set behind the mountains, casting a warm glow over the village, Naruto found himself alone at Hokage Rock once more. The view was breathtaking, but he could feel the shadows closing in around him. "Hey," a familiar voice interrupted his thoughts. It was Sakura, her smile brightening the evening. "I brought you dinner. You need to take care of yourself." Naruto chuckled, feeling the warmth of her presence. "Thanks, Sakura. I appreciate it." As they sat together, sharing a moment of peace, Naruto couldn't help but reflect on the path ahead. The Akatsuki were still a looming threat, and he knew that darkness was always waiting, ready to pounce. But with his friends by his side, he felt a renewed sense of hope. They would face whatever challenges lay ahead together, and he wouldn't let the darkness consume him. With each passing day, Naruto embraced the power within him, wielding it not just for destruction but for protection. He would forge his own path, a blend of strength and loyalty, a world breaker who fought for a brighter future. As the stars began to twinkle overhead, Naruto closed his eyes, letting the weight of the world rest on his shoulders. He was ready to face whatever came next, a guardian of Kanata, an unstoppable force driven by the bonds of friendship and the will to protect. The true battle was just beginning, but Naruto Uzumaki was prepared to rise to the occasion, no matter the cost. Days passed in a blur of training and strategizing as the threat of the Akatsuki loomed ever closer. Naruto felt the tension in the village, the citizens' fear palpable in the air. He took it upon himself to reassure them, visiting homes, sharing meals, and reminding everyone that they would stand united against any enemy that dared threaten Kanata. But beneath that determination lay an unsettling undercurrent. The voice of the Hulk, the power he had inherited, whispered to him, filling his thoughts with chaos and darkness. It promised strength beyond measure, urging him to embrace the rage that simmered just beneath the surface. The Akatsuki's assault. One fateful night, as Naruto and his friends were gathered at the Hokage's office to discuss their strategies, a sudden tremor shook the building. The ground rumbled as if warning them of the impending storm. "What was that?" Sakura exclaimed, her eyes wide with alarm. "Everyone, stay alert," Naruto ordered, feeling the surge of adrenaline coursing through him. It could be the Akatsuki? Just as he finished speaking, the doors burst open, and a panicked Anbu member rushed in, panting heavily. "Hokage-sama. The Akatsuki are attacking. They are already inside the village." "Damn it," Naruto growled, the anger bubbling beneath his calm demeanor. "We need to mobilize the shinobi immediately. Everyone, gear up." As they rushed out into the chaos, Naruto felt the familiar pulse of Hulk's energy igniting within him. He welcomed it, knowing he would need every ounce of strength for the battle that lay ahead. The streets of Konoha. The streets of Konoha were filled with chaos and destruction. Shadows flitted across rooftops, and the sound of clashing jutsu echoed in the air. Naruto could see shinobi engaging with Akatsuki members, but the tide was turning against them. "Let's go," he shouted to Sasuke and Sakura as they leaped into the fray. "We'll take down as many as we can." They moved as a unit, attacking enemies with a seamless rhythm. Naruto unleashed his Rasengan, sending an enemy flying, while Sasuke followed with a barrage of fireballs, creating a path for them. "Keep pushing forward," Sasuke called out, his eyes narrowed in focus. Suddenly, Naruto felt a surge of energy and turned to see one of the Akatsuki members Hiden charging towards him, a twisted grin on his face. "Naruto Uzumaki," Hiden cackled, brandishing his scythe. "I've been looking forward to this." Naruto's response was immediate. "You won't lay a finger on my friends." As Hiden swung his scythe, Naruto dodged to the side, feeling the wind rush past him. In a flash, he charged forward, fists imbued with the Hulk's might. "Smash!" he shouted, connecting with Hiden's jaw and sending him crashing into a nearby building. The impact sent tremors through the ground, and Naruto could feel the power resonating within him, urging him to unleash more destruction. But before he could attack again, he sensed another presence approaching Kisame, the shark-like member of the Akatsuki. "Not so fast!" Kisame roared, drawing his massive sword. Sanhada, ready to slice through the chaos. "Stay back, Naruto," Sakura shouted as she prepared to engage Kisame. "We'll handle him." "No," Naruto countered, feeling the Hulk's entity swelling inside him. "I can take him." As he turned to face Kisame, the weight of his power settled over him like an armor. "You'll regret underestimating me." The clash with Kisame. Kisame charged forward, swinging Sanhado with lethal intent. Naruto matched his speed, dodging the attack and countering with a powerful kick that landed squarely against Kisame's torso. "You're strong, I'll give you that," Kisame grinned, unfazed. "But you won't beat me with brute strength alone." With that, he summoned a massive wave of water, transforming the battlefield into a treacherous landscape. Water surged around them, filling the streets and creating an advantage for Kisame. But Naruto was undeterred. "I don't need to play by your rules." As the water rushed toward him, he embraced the Hulk's rage, feeling the energy flow through him like a raging river. "I'll show you true strength." With a roar that reverberated through the water, he unleashed a massive wave of chakra, pushing back against Kisame's water jutsu. The two forces collided, creating a massive explosion that sent shockwaves throughout the village. Kisame staggered, momentarily caught off guard. "What is this power?" Naruto seized the opportunity, charging forward. "This is what happens when you mess with Konoha." He launched a series of punches, each one imbued with Hulk-like strength, battering Kisame relentlessly. The Akatsuki member fought back fiercely, but Naruto felt invincible, the weight of his newfound power fueling his every move. As the battle raged on, Naruto heard a familiar voice in the chaos. "Naruto. Behind you." He turned just in time to see Haiden recovering, his twisted smile returning. "You think you can defeat me that easily?" The three-way battle. "Great," Naruto muttered, feeling the pressure mount. "Now it's 2 against 1. But just as Haiden lunged at him, a flash of light caught his eye. Sasuke, launching a volley of shurikens that struck Haiden, causing him to stumble backward. "Focus on one at a time," Sasuke shouted, quickly drawing Haiden's attention away. Naruto seized the moment, turning his attention back to Kisame. "Let's finish this." The two shinobi moved as one, combining their strength in a powerful combination attack. Naruto unleashed a barrage of punches while Sasuke supported him with fire jutsu, forcing Kisame to defend against both angles. "Water prison jutsu!" Kisame yelled, trying to bind Naruto in a watery cage. But Naruto was ready. Not today. He tapped into the Hulk's energy, breaking free with a surge of strength that shattered the water prison. In a final push, Naruto channeled his chakra into a massive Raisin Shuriken, launching it at Kisame. "This ends now." The jutsu spiraled through the air, striking Kisame with incredible force and exploding in a blinding flash of light. When the smoke cleared, Kisame was on the ground, defeated. Panting heavily, Naruto turned to see Sasuke grappling with Haiden, who had somehow regained his footing. "Don't let him get away," Naruto shouted, charging toward them. But as he reached them, he felt a sudden surge of power, a dark energy pooling around Haiden. "You can't kill me that easily." Haiden laughed maniacally, his scythe glinting ominously. With a swift motion, he activated his curse technique, causing a blood-red sigil to appear on the ground. "You'll regret this, Uzumaki." Before Naruto could react, a torrent of dark energy erupted from the sigil, striking him and sending him flying back. He hit the ground hard, the impact shaking him to his core. "Get up, Naruto!" Sakura shouted, fear gritting her voice. He struggled to regain his composure, feeling the darkness clawing at his mind. But he couldn't let it take him. With the memories of his friends and his village flooding back, he tapped into the Hulk's fury one last time. "I won't be defeated by you," he roared, rising to his feet with renewed determination. The final stand. As Naruto faced Haiden, a fire burned in his eyes. "You want my blood? Come and get it." With a ferocious charge, he launched himself at Haiden, fists flying. The Akatsuki member swung his scythe wildly, but Naruto was a blur, dodging and weaving through the attacks. Each punch connected with Hiden's body, echoing with the strength of the Hulk. Hiden staggered but refused to back down. "You think you can defeat me? I'll just keep coming back. Then I'll just have to break you?" Naruto shouted, feeling the Hulk's power surging through him. With a final, explosive punch, he sent Hiden crashing into the ground, the impact creating a shockwave that rattled the surroundings. As Hiden lay there, battered and defeated, Naruto felt the presence of the Hulk fade slightly, replaced by his sense of clarity. He had harnessed the power within him, wielding it not just for destruction but for protection. Panting heavily, he turned to see his friends regrouping. "Are you guys okay?" Sakura rushed to his side, her eyes filled with concern. "You were incredible, Naruto. But we need to keep moving. There's still more of them." "We have to find the others," Sasuke agreed, looking toward the distant sounds of battle. With a nod, Naruto felt a renewed sense of purpose. "Let's go. We'll protect Konoha together." As they raced through the streets, the weight of the battle hung heavy in the air, but they were united, a force to be reckoned with. The Akatsuki would learn that Konoha wouldn't back down, that they would fight with everything they had, no matter the odds. A new challenge. The chaos continued around them, and they quickly encountered more Akatsuki members. Deidara, Tobi, and the others were still wreaking havoc, but Naruto could feel the tide turning. Together with his friends, they launched into the fray, a whirlwind of jutsu and strength. Each battle brought its challenges, but Naruto felt a power within him responding, adapting to the needs of each fight. The Akatsuki might have underestimated him, but they would soon learn the truth. Naruto Uzumaki, the reincarnation of the World Breaker Hulk, was not just a hero, he was a force of nature. As they fought on, he felt the darkness swirling around him, but he remained steadfast. He would not allow the Hulk to take control. With each clash, he learned to balance the power within him, wielding it as a weapon for good while keeping the darkness at bay. Epilogue: The calm before the storm. As the battle raged on through the night, Naruto found himself standing atop a building, gazing over the village. The destruction and chaos were everywhere, but in the heart of Konoha, he could feel the spirit of the people rising. "We'll win this," he murmured to himself, determination burning bright. He was more than just a weapon. He was a protector, a guardian of those he loved. And as long as he stood with his friends, they would face whatever challenges awaited them together. But the real test was still to come. The Akatsuki would regroup, and Naruto knew that the battles ahead would push him to his limits. As dawn broke over Konoha, painting the sky in hues of orange and gold, Naruto prepared himself for the inevitable confrontation with Pain and the other Akatsuki leaders. The storm was gathering, and he would be ready. He was Naruto Uzumaki, the World Breaker, and he would not be broken. The dawn broke over Konoha, illuminating the aftermath of the battles fought through the night. Smoke still curled from the remnants of destroyed buildings, and the air was thick with the smell of burned wood and spilled chakra. But amidst the devastation, the village was alive with the spirit of its people, united in their resolve to rebuild and defend their home. As Naruto stood atop the building, he felt the weight of his responsibilities settle over him like a heavy cloak. The battle against the Akatsuki was far from over, and he could sense that the real challenge was still to come. The thought of Pain's looming presence filled him with an unsettling mix of anticipation and dread. "We need to regroup and strategize," he muttered under his breath, turning away from the horizon. "If Pain is next, we can't go in blindly." The War Council. Back in the Hokage's office, a meeting was already underway. Tsunade sat at the head of the table, her expression serious as she surveyed the gathered shinobi. Sakura, Sasuke, and Shikamaru filled the seats alongside other key members of the village, all sporting expressions of concern and determination. "Everyone fought bravely last night," Tsunade began, her voice steady. "But we lost some ground against the Akatsuki. We cannot let them regroup and strike again. We need a plan." Naruto stepped forward, the presence of the Hulk still simmering beneath his skin, amplifying his confidence. "We need to find out where they are hiding and hit them hard. We can't let them have a chance to recover." Shikamaru nodded thoughtfully, His fingers steepled as he considered their options. It's likely that they are retreating to their hideout. We need intelligence. If we can find out where they are, we can plan an ambush. Then we need to send out reconnaissance teams, Suzuki suggested. I can take a team to scout the areas surrounding the village. I can go too, Sakura interjected, her eyes bright with determination. I can use my healing abilities to help anyone who gets hurt. We can cover more ground together. Naruto felt a surge of pride as he watched his friends rally together, each one ready to protect their home. I'll go with you. We're stronger together. Tsunade nodded, approving their strategy. All right. We need to gather our best scouts and split into teams. The fate of the village depends on our ability to anticipate the Akatsuki's moves. Let's move quickly. A plan in motion. As they divided into teams, Naruto felt a familiar thrill of excitement course through him. The chaos of battle fueled him, pushing him to embrace the Hulk's power as he prepared for what lay ahead. But this time, he would keep the darkness at bay, using his strength to protect rather than destroy. With Sakura and Suzuki at his side, they set out into the wilderness surrounding Kanata. The trees towered above them, casting shadows that danced in the sunlight. Stay alert, Suzuki cautioned, scanning the area. The Akatsuki are cunning and won't hesitate to ambush us. Naruto nodded, feeling the tension in the air. The jungle was alive with the sounds of wildlife, but there was an underlying silence that hinted at danger lurking just out of sight. After hours of searching, they came across a clearing where the remnants of a recent battle were evident. Broken branches, scorched earth, and faint traces of chakra lingered in the air. This must be where they fought, Naruto said, kneeling to examine the ground. They left in a hurry. They must have retreated here after our last fight. Sakura crouched beside him, her brow furrowed in concentration. If we can find any clues about their next move, we might be able to prepare for it. Suddenly, Suzuki's eyes narrowed. There's something off about this place. I can sense their chakra. It's faint, but it's there. They could be close. Naruto's senses heightened, and he focused his chakra to enhance his perception. Let's follow it. We have to get to them before they regroup. A descent into darkness. As they moved deeper into the forest, the atmosphere shifted. The trees grew denser, the shadows longer and darker. Naruto could feel the presence of the Hulk growing stronger within him, urging him to embrace the fury that lay dormant. Are you all right? Sakura asked, glancing at him with concern. Yeah, just feeling the power surge, he admitted, his voice low. It's tempting to let it take over. Don't lose control, Naruto, Suzuki warned, his expression serious. We need you focused. Naruto nodded, forcing himself to center his thoughts. He couldn't afford to let the Hulk's rage cloud his judgment, not now. They had to remain strategic and calm if they were going to outmaneuver the Akatsuki. As they pressed on, the faint traces of chakra grew stronger, leading them to a hidden cave nestled deep within the mountains. The entrance was shrouded in shadows, and Naruto could feel an ominous energy radiating from within. This is it, he whispered, his heart pounding in his chest. They are here. Suzuki stepped forward, his Sharingan activated. We'll need to move quietly. There could be traps or guards inside. With a nod, the trio entered the cave, the darkness swallowing them whole. They moved cautiously, the faint glow of Suzuki's eyes guiding their way as they navigated the treacherous terrain. As they delved deeper, they came across remnants of a camp, discarded weapons, empty food containers, and signs of a hurried departure. They were here, Sakura whispered, her voice tinged with urgency. But where did they go? Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the cave, and the ground shook beneath them. What was that? Naruto exclaimed, instinctively summoning chakra to prepare for a fight. Before they could react, the walls of the cave shifted, and a group of Akatsuki members emerged from the shadows, Deidara, Tobi, and the ominous figure of Pain looming behind them. Looks like we found them, Suzuki muttered, his grip tightening on his kunai. Naruto felt the Hulk's energy coursing through him, igniting his fury. You won't get away this time. The battle begins. Foolish children, Pain said, his voice calm yet menacing. You've come to your doom. Deidara grinned, his eyes glinting with excitement. Let's see if you can withstand my art. Before Naruto could respond, Deidara unleashed a barrage of explosive clay birds that hurtled toward them. Scatter, he shouted, leaping to the side as explosions wrought the cave. Stay close. Sasuke yelled, summoning his Chidori as he charged toward Deidara. We need to take him out first. Naruto felt the energy surging within him, the Hulk's power urging him forward. I'll handle Pain, he declared, charging toward the leader of the Akatsuki. Fool. Pain said, his eyes narrowing. You cannot defeat me? As Naruto approached, Pain unleashed a wave of gravitational force, pushing him back. But with a roar, Naruto tapped into the Hulk's strength, bracing himself against the pull and charging forward again. Raise Nan, he shouted, connecting with Pain's body and sending him crashing against the cave wall. But Pain was relentless. You think you can defeat me with mere brute strength? As he rose, his eyes glowed ominously, and Naruto felt an overwhelming pressure bearing down on him. Pain was manipulating the very forces of nature, his chakras swirling around him like a storm. Sakura and Sasuke fought valiantly against Deidara, each attack met with explosive counterattacks. The cave filled with the sounds of battle, and Naruto could feel the chaos all around him. Stay focused. Sasuke shouted, dodging another explosive clay bird. We need to take him out before he can summon war. With each passing moment, Naruto could feel the Hulk's power surging within him, urging him to unleash his rage. But he fought to maintain control, channeling his thunder into strength rather than chaos. You're nothing but a child playing at power? Pain taunted, lifting his hand to unleash another wave of energy. Enough! Naruto roared, gathering his chakra and launching himself at Pain with newfound determination. Raisin Shuriken, he shouted, hurling the deadly jutsu toward Pain, who barely managed to evade the attack. The ground erupted in an explosion as the jutsu struck the cave wall, creating a massive shockwave that sent debris flying. Pain staggered but quickly regained his footing, his expression cold. You cannot win. You cannot save your village. But Naruto was undeterred. I'll protect everyone. I'll show you true power. The turning point. Just as Pain was about to launch another attack, Naruto felt a shift within himself. The Hulk's presence surged, a tidal wave of power begging to be released. He could feel the darkness pressing against the edges of his consciousness, urging him to embrace it completely. Let go, Naruto, the voice echoed in his mind. Unleash the rage. He hesitated for a moment, weighing the consequences, but then he recalled the faces of his friends and the people of Konoha. He couldn't let them down. With a fierce roar, he let the Hulk's power envelop him, a green aura radiating from his form. The transformation was exhilarating, his body growing larger, stronger, and more imposing. Now you'll see what true strength looks like, he bellowed, charging at Pain with renewed ferocity. Pain's eyes widened in surprise as Naruto closed the distance, unleashing a devastating punch that sent him crashing into the cave wall. The ground shook with the impact, and the walls began to crumble around him. Sasuke and Sakura looked on in awe as Naruto transformed, the chaotic energy swirling around him, amplifying his already godlike abilities. What is happening? Sakura exclaimed. He's tapping into something incredible, Sasuke replied, his voice low. He's becoming a force we can't even comprehend. As the cave continued to tremble, Naruto focused on Pain, his every instinct honed in on the enemy before him. You think you can defeat me? You're wrong. With each blow, Naruto felt the power of the Hulk merging with his own, creating a devastating combination of strength and technique. He charged again, this time with the intent to end Pain's tyranny. Let's see how you handle this, he shouted, pulling his chakra into a concentrated sphere. Raisin Shuriken. He hurled the jutsu with such force that it tore through the air, a whirlwind of destruction aimed directly at Pain. Pain's eyes widened, and he attempted to counter, but the attack connected with a resounding explosion, sending shockwaves throughout the cave. The force was so great that it sent everyone reeling, and Naruto felt a surge of triumph as the dust settled. But as the smoke cleared, Pain rose unscathed, a mocking smile on his face. Impressive, but ultimately futile. You cannot stop what's already been set in motion. A revelation. Before Naruto could react, Pain lifted his hands, summoning the energy of his Six Paths technique. The cave filled with a blinding light as the ground shook violently, threatening to collapse around them. "We have to get out of here," Sasuke shouted, pulling Sakura to safety as Naruto braced himself against the shifting earth. "No," Naruto roared, focusing all of his energy into a single point. "I won't let you destroy everything." In that moment, the Hulk's fury surged within him, and Naruto tapped into a deeper well of power that he had ever accessed before. The energy radiating from him was palpable, an aura of green that engulfed the cavern, pushing back the gravitational force that Pain exerted. "Get back," he shouted to his friends, his voice booming through the chaos. With a roar that echoed on the walls, he unleashed a shockwave of energy, pushing Pain's attack back and creating a path through the debris. "You will pay for underestimating me," he bellowed, charging once more. Pain's eyes narrowed in shock as Naruto closed the distance, swinging his fist with all his might. The blow landed squarely on Pain's chest, sending him crashing into the cave's far wall. The force of the impact caused the cave to shudder violently, and cracks began to form in the walls. Dust and debris rained down as Naruto stood tall, the power of the Hulk surging within him. Sasuke and Sakura exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of awe and fear. "Is he?" "Yeah," Sasuke replied, breathless. "He's become something beyond us." Pain staggered back to his feet, his expression darkening. "You think you can defeat me with raw power? You know nothing of the true nature of this world." Naruto's eyes blazed with intensity. "I know enough. I'll protect Kanata, no matter the cost." With a roar, he surged forward, prepared to unleash the full might of the Hulk against Pain. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, he felt invincible. No matter what Pain had planned, he would not back down. The final clash. The air crackled with tension as Naruto closed in, his fists clenched and ready. The cave walls trembled with the force of their confrontation, each impact sending shockwaves through the earth. Pain raised his hand, preparing to unleash another wave of energy, but Naruto was quicker. "You're done playing God," he shouted, channeling all his energy into a single, devastating blow. "Fist of the Hulk," he roared, slamming his fist into the ground. The impact sent shockwaves rippling through the cave, destabilizing the very structure around them. Pain's eyes widened as he realized the danger he was in. "No. You can't." But it was too late. The cave began to collapse around them, the weight of the rock and earth threatening to bury them all. "Get out!" Naruto shouted to his friends, his voice booming as he continued to pour his energy into the ground. "I'll hold him off." Sasuke hesitated, but Naruto's fierce gaze brooked no argument. "I'll be fine. Just go." With one last glance, Sasuke grabbed Sakura and led her away, the two of them sprinting toward the cave entrance as it crumbled behind them. As they escaped into the sunlight, the earth quaked violently, and Naruto could feel the power of the Hulk surging within him. The cave was collapsing, but he would not be buried without a fight. "Pain. This ends now," he roared, summoning the last remnants of his chakra and the Hulk's rage. In one final, tremendous surge of power, he slammed his fist into the ground, unleashing a shockwave that shattered the cave's entrance. The energy erupted outward, sending Pain flying and destabilizing the very foundation of their battlefield. As the dust settled, Naruto stood amidst the rubble, panting heavily but unbroken. He had faced Pain and emerged victorious, but the battle was only beginning. A new dawn. As the dust cleared, Naruto emerged from the collapsing cave, the sunlight bathing him in warmth. The world felt different, charged with potential, and he could sense the shift in the air. Sasuke and Sakura stood a distance away, watching him with awe, You did it, Sakura breathed, her eyes wide. You defeated pain. But Naruto's victory was bittersweet. The battle against the Akatsuki was far from over, and he could feel the darkness swirling around him, a constant reminder of the power he wielded. I won't stop until Kana is safe, he vowed, looking toward the horizon. I'll protect everyone, even if it means embracing the darkness within me. As he turned to face his friends, the weight of his new identity settled over him. He was Naruto Uzumaki, the reincarnation of the World Breaker Hulk, and he would do whatever it took to protect those he loved even if it meant walking a darker path. And deep down, he felt the Hulk's presence, a reminder that true power came with a price. The world was changing, and so was he. The battle against the Akatsuki was only the beginning, and Naruto was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, no matter the cost. As he stood with his friends, he knew that they would fight together, bound by a shared purpose. Konoha would endure, and he would ensure that the village remained safe from the shadows threatening to engulf it. But in the back of his mind, the Hulk's voice echoed, reminding him that darkness could always claw its way back, waiting for the moment of weakness to strike. And Naruto would have to remain vigilant, both as a protector and as a warrior. The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: he would never back down. He was Naruto Uzumaki, and he would forge his own destiny. The battle against pain was a victory etched into the annals of Konoha's history, a testament to the strength and determination of its defenders. As Naruto stood among the rubble, surrounded by his friends and fellow villagers, he felt a surge of pride mixed with an unsettling foreboding. The echoes of his power, the manifestation of the Hulk within him, ran louder than ever. In the days following the battle, the village came together to heal and rebuild. Naruto threw himself into the work, determined to help his friends and neighbors recover from the chaos. Yet, with each passing moment, the whispers of the Hulk grew louder, a constant reminder of the power he wielded and the darkness that accompanied it. A new threat emerges. Meanwhile, the Akatsuki were regrouping, their ambitions undeterred by their previous losses. Despite the defeat of pain, their resolve to capture Naruto had only grown stronger. Hidden within the shadows, new plans were being crafted, and new threats were rising. In a secret meeting deep within their hideout, the remaining Akatsuki members gathered to discuss their next moves. Obito, shrouded in mystery, surveyed the group with a calculated gaze. Pain may have fallen, but Naruto Uzumaki is still a target we cannot ignore, Obito stated, his voice echoing through the darkened chamber. His power is an anomaly, one that we can harness for our own purposes. Kisame, his shark-like grin revealing his enthusiasm, leaned forward. Let's go after him again. With pain gone, he'll be vulnerable. No, Obito interjected firmly. We need to approach this with more finesse. We cannot afford to make the same mistakes as before. We must undermine him psychologically. To do that, we must draw out the Hulk's rage. The others listened intently, their expressions the mix of intrigue and wariness. Deidara, ever the artist, chimed in. What do you suggest? Obito leaned closer, outlining a plan that would put Naruto's friends in danger and test his resolve. We will capture one of his precious comrades. This will draw him out. Once he unleashes his power and anger, we can exploit that. If we can control the Hulk, we control him. Reflections in the aftermath. Back in Kaneda, Naruto was starting to feel the weight of his dual identity. As he trained with Sakura and Sasuke, he found himself struggling to maintain control. The Hulk's energy surged beneath the surface, eager to break free during moments of stress or anger. He took to training hard, pushing his limits to ensure he could control the power within him. Keep your stance firm, Naruto. Sakura called out, her hands moving swiftly as she executed a complex series of jutsu. You can let your emotions dictate your movements. Yeah, I know. Naruto grunted, focusing his chakra as he practiced the Raise-Nan. I'm trying to keep the Hulk in check, but it's hard. Sasuke watched from the sidelines, arms crossed, his gaze piercing. You can't let the Hulk control you, Naruto. Remember what we're fighting for. Don't forget who you are. Naruto paused, panting heavily as he considered Sasuke's words. "I won't forget," he said, determination lighting up his eyes. "But it's not that simple. The power is always there, waiting for me to lose control. I don't want to hurt anyone." "Then focus," Sasuke replied, his tone firm. "You need to harness that power, not let it consume you." As they continued their training, Naruto felt the energy swirling within him. Each movement he made was infused with the power of the Hulk, yet he fought to maintain his sense of self. He wouldn't let the darkness take over, not now, not ever. An unforeseen attack. However, unbeknownst to Naruto and his friends, the Akatsuki were already setting their plan into motion. Under the cover of night, they moved through Konoha with stealth and precision, their target in sight. Sakura, who had been out gathering supplies for the village, felt a sudden chill run down her spine as she wandered through the streets. "Something doesn't feel right," she muttered, glancing around nervously. Just as she turned to head back, a figure emerged from the shadows, Kisane, wielding his signature sword, Sanheda. Well, what do we have here?" he said with a predatory grin. A lone Kunoichi, far from her friends. How convenient. Before she could react, he lunged at her, swinging the blade in a swift arc. Sakura barely managed to dodge, her instincts kicking in as she prepared to fight back. "Get away from me," she shouted, channeling her chakra into a kunao as she aimed for him. But Kisane was relentless, the two engaging in a fierce battle that echoed through the empty streets of Konoha. Sakura fought with all her might, but she could feel herself being overwhelmed. Kisane's strength was formidable, and she realized too late that she was not facing him alone. "Don't worry, little Kunoichi," he taunted, "your friends won't be able to save you in time." The call to arms. Back at Naruto's training ground, the atmosphere shifted. Naruto suddenly felt a disturbance in the air, a sensation that something was terribly wrong. "What was that?" he muttered, his instincts kicking in as he turned to Sasuke and Sakura. Sasuke frowned, his eyes narrowing. "Something's happening in a village. We need to check it out." As they raced through the streets of Konoha, they felt a growing sense of urgency. The villagers were stirring, whispering about a sudden attack, panic evident in their voices. "Where's Sakura?" Naruto asked, anxiety creeping into his tone. "She was supposed to be gathering supplies," Sasuke replied, his expression hardening. "We need to find her." Just then, they heard a scream pierce the night, echoing through the alleys. It was unmistakably Sakura's voice. "Let's go," Naruto shouted, sprinting toward the sound. They arrived just in time to see Sakura locked in combat with Kisane, her back against the wall as she desperately fought off the powerful Akatsuki member. "Sakura!" Naruto yelled, his heart racing as he felt the Hulk's energy surge within him. "Get away from her," Sasuke added, his Sharingan flaring to life as he prepared to jump into the fight. Kisane turned to face them, his grin widening as he spotted Naruto. "Ah, the mighty Naruto Uzumaki. I've been waiting to see you unleash the Hulk power of yours. This will be fun." The clash with Kisane. Without hesitation, Naruto charged forward, his chakra flaring as he prepared to unleash the Hulk's power. "You won't hurt her," he bellowed, feeling the energy coursing through him. Kisane met his charge with a swift swing of Sanheda, the sword crackling with chakra. The two forces collided, sending shockwaves through the ground. Sasuke leaped into the fray, joining Naruto as they fought to protect Sakura. "We need to work together," he shouted, launching a volley of shuriken at Kisane. Sakura regained her footing and joined them, her resolve renewed. "We'll take him down together." As they fought, Naruto could feel the Hulk's energy pushing him forward, urging him to let go and embrace the rage. "Stay focused," he reminded himself. "I can't lose control." Kisane laughed, enjoying the challenge. "Come on. Show me what you've got." With a primal roar, Naruto unleashed a devastating punch, landing a direct hit on Kisane. The Akatsuki member staggered back, but quickly recovered, retaliating with a wave of water that surged toward him. Water style, water prison jutsu, he shouted, summoning a massive sphere of water to ensnare Naruto and his friends. But Naruto wasn't about to be caught off guard. Raise Nan, he yelled, spinning, and slamming his jutsu into the water prison, shattering it into droplets. Is that all you've got? He taunted, eyes blazing with determination. Kisame gritted his teeth, frustration evident as he regrouped. You think you can win? You have no idea what I'm capable of. Sasuke, seizing the opportunity, activated his Sharingan and moved in for an attack. You're not getting away, he shouted, unleashing a barrage of lightning-infused shuriken. The projectiles struck Kisame, who howled in pain but quickly retaliated with a surge of water that enveloped the area. You think you can defeat me with mere tricks? The power within. As the battle intensified, Naruto felt the Hulk's energy roaring within him, demanding to be unleashed. The ground trembled beneath his feet, and he could sense the darkness stirring, eager to break free. Just a little longer, he thought, channeling the Hulk's power into his next move. I won't let it consume me. With a roar that shook the air, he surged forward, unleashing a flurry of punches that rained down on Kisame. Each strike was fueled by the Hulk's strength, and he felt the tide of the battle shifting. Kisame staggered back, struggling to keep up with Naruto's relentless assault. This isn't over, he shouted defiantly, but the desperation in his voice was palpable. Sasuke took advantage of Kisame's momentary weakness, moving in for a decisive blow. Now, Naruto. Together, he yelled. Naruto nodded, focusing all his energy into one final strike. Raisin Shuriken, he roared, launching the jutsu at Kisame with all his might. As the attack struck, the explosion lit up the night sky, illuminating the battlefield with a blinding light. The force of the jutsu sent Kisame flying, crashing into the ground as the dust settled. Breathing heavily, Naruto turned to Sakura and Sasuke, relief washing over him. Is it over? Sakura nodded, her expression a mix of exhaustion and triumph. We did it. But deep inside, Naruto felt the Hulk's energy still swirling, a reminder that the battle for control was far from over. The darkness whispered promises of power and destruction, tempting him to embrace it fully. As they stood together, surveying the aftermath of their fight, Naruto knew that the Akatsuki threat was not vanquished. The path ahead would be fraught with danger, and he would have to confront the darkness within him if he wanted to protect those he loved. With resolve, he turned toward his friends. We need to get back to the village. There's more to come, and we need to be ready. Together, they made their way back, the weight of the fight lingering in the air. Naruto felt the Hulk's power thrumming beneath his skin, a constant reminder of the struggle he faced. But he also felt something else: his friends' unwavering support, and the determination to fight for a brighter future. As they walked through the village, Naruto vowed to confront the shadows lurking within him, to harness the Hulk's power without losing himself. The journey ahead would be challenging, but he was ready to face whatever lay in wait. The time for hesitation was over. He would become the protector Konoha needed, even if it meant walking a path darker than any he had ever traveled. And so, the battle continued, each step bringing him closer to understanding the true nature of his power and the choices that lay before him. As the sun rose over Konoha, casting golden rays over the village, Naruto felt a sense of unease settle within him. The battle with Kisame had left its mark not just physically, but mentally. He had narrowly controlled the Hulk's rage during the fight, but the temptation to unleash that raw power lingered in his mind, waiting for the right moment to strike. The village buzzed with activity as residents began to rebuild after the destruction caused by Pain and the Akatsuki. Naruto joined his friends in the effort, determined to contribute to the recovery while grappling with his own internal struggles. Every smile he saw on the villagers' faces served as a reminder of what he fought for. An unexpected visitor. Just as Naruto was helping to clear debris from a collapsed building, he felt a familiar chakra approaching. He turned to see Kakashi striding toward him, his face serious but calm. Naruto, Kakashi said, his tone somber. We need to talk. Naruto wiped the sweat from his brow, curiosity peaking. What is it, Kakashi-sensei? We've received intel that the Akatsuki are planning another strike, Kakashi explained, his eye narrowing with concern. They are targeting the remaining Jinchuriki. If they capture one of them, it could shift the balance of power in their favor. Then we need to protect them. Naruto exclaimed, feeling a surge of urgency. We can't let them take anyone else. Kakashi nodded. Exactly. The council has decided to send out scouting teams to locate the other Jinchuriki and ensure their safety. I want you to lead one of the teams. Me? Lead? Naruto asked, taken aback. But what about Sasuke and Sakura? They will join you, Kakashi replied, his expression firm. But we need someone with your strength and determination to take charge. You've shown you can handle the pressure, especially with your newfound abilities. Naruto hesitated for a moment, the weight of the responsibility pressing on him. I'll do it. We can't let the Akatsuki win. Good. Meet me at the training grounds in an hour, and we'll discuss our strategy, Kakashi said before turning to leave. As Naruto watched his sensei walk away, he felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. Leading a team was a big step, but he was determined to protect the village and his friends. Preparation for battle. Gathering Sasuke and Sakura, they met with Kakashi to discuss their mission. We need to split into teams and scout the surrounding areas for any signs of the Akatsuki, Kakashi instructed. We'll maintain communication through our chakra links. Sasuke crossed his arms, his expression serious. What's our primary objective? Locate the other Jinchuriki and ensure they are safe. If you come across any members of the Akatsuki, prioritize their capture or elimination, Kakashi replied. We cannot underestimate their capabilities. Sakura nodded, determination lighting up her eyes. We'll do whatever it takes. Naruto felt the same fire igniting within him. Let's move out. They set off, traversing the familiar landscape of the Fire Country, each step fueled by the urgency of their mission. As they ventured deeper into the wild, the camaraderie among the three grew stronger. Despite the looming threat, they relied on each other, their bond unwavering. Encounters in the forest. Days passed as they patrolled the forests and villages, gathering information, and remaining vigilant. The tension in the air was palpable, and each rustle of leaves made Naruto's senses sharpen. One afternoon, while resting near a stream, they received a transmission through their communication links. Kakashi here. We've spotted an Akatsuki member near the Hidden Stone Village. Stay alert. Naruto felt a surge of adrenaline. We should head there immediately. Sasuke nodded, determination flashing in his eyes. Let's move. As they rushed toward the Hidden Stone Village, Naruto could feel the Hulk's power simmering just below the surface. He pushed it down, focusing on the task at hand. Upon reaching the outskirts of the village, they spotted a figure cloaked in black deodari, the explosive artist of the Akatsuki. He was surveying the area, seemingly unaware of their approach. Now's our chance, Naruto whispered. We can let him escape. Agreed, Sasuke replied. We'll need to ambush him. They coordinated their plan, with Naruto and Sasuke flanking the sides while Sakura moved in from the front. On my signal, Naruto said, feeling the anticipation build. Ready, Sasuke affirmed, his Sharingan activated, scanning for any potential traps. With a deep breath, Naruto shouted, now. They launched their attacks simultaneously. Sakura summoned her strength, delivering a powerful punch aimed at Deidara. Naruto followed closely behind, unleashing a barrage of shuriken while Sasuke prepared his chidori. But Deidara was quicker than they anticipated. With a flourish of his hands, he created a clay bird, taking to the air as he evaded their attack. You think you can catch me that easily? Art is an explosion. The sky filled with his explosive clay as he sent it raining down on them. Naruto's instincts kicked in, and he felt the Hulk's energy surge once more, demanding to be unleashed. Get down, he shouted, channeling chakra to form a protective barrier around his friends. The explosions rocked the ground, sending debris flying. Focus, Naruto. Sakura called out, her eyes wide. We can't let him overwhelm us. A battle of wits and power. As the dust settled, Naruto felt the Hulk's presence intensifying. He knew he had to maintain control but found it increasingly difficult amidst the chaos. I won't let you take over, he growled, struggling against the tide of power. Come on, come on. Deidara taunted from above, launching more clay bombs. You're too slow. Let's see how you handle this. Naruto's anger flared, and in that moment, he could feel the Hulk surging to the forefront. He fought against it, his resolve hardening. No. I'll do this my way. Summoning all his chakra, he created a massive raisin shuriken, charging it with the power of the Hulk. The air crackled with energy as he hurled it into the sky. Raisin shuriken, he roared, the jutsu spiraling toward Deidara with incredible speed. Deidara's eyes widened in shock as he realized too late the danger he was in. Wait, what? The raisin shuriken collided with his clay bird, resulting in a massive explosion that illuminated the sky. Naruto shielded his eyes as the force of the blast reverberated through the area, shaking the very ground beneath them. As the smoke cleared, they saw Deidara plummeting to the earth, injured but not defeated. He staggered to his feet, his face twisted in fury. You think you've won? Art is eternal. Without warning, he unleashed a barrage of explosive clay, but this time, Naruto was ready. Not this time, he shouted, channeling the Hulk's strength into his next move. With a primal roar, he charged forward, dodging the explosions and closing the distance between them. Fist of the Hulk, he bellowed, unleashing a devastating punch that sent shockwaves through the air. Deidara staggered back, unable to withstand the sheer force of the blow. No. This can't be happening. But Naruto wasn't finished. He surged forward, the Hulk's energy coursing through him as he landed blow after blow, each strike a testament to his determination. Deidara fought back, but it was clear he was outmatched. Stop. Deidara yelled, desperation creeping into his voice. You don't understand. You're only making things worse. Naruto paused, breathing heavily as he glared at Deidara. What are you talking about? Once the Akatsuki learns you are out of control, they'll come for you. You're a threat, Uzumaki. Deidara spat, trying to buy himself time. They'll use your anger against you? The edge of darkness. Naruto hesitated, the weight of Deidara's words sinking in. The Hulk's energy buzzed beneath his skin, urging him to unleash even more fury. But could he trust this Akatsuki member? Why should I believe you? Because I've seen it. Deidara exclaimed, fear evident in his eyes. I've seen what you can become. If you give in to the rage, you'll lose everything. Enough. Sasuke shouted, stepping forward. We can't let him manipulate us. We need to finish this. With a surge of determination, Naruto lunged at Deidara once more. I won't let you use my friends as pawns. I'll protect them no matter what. Just as he prepared to strike, Deidara activated another clay creation, a massive explosive creature that began to take shape behind him. If I'm going down, I'll take you with me? No. Naruto shouted, panic surging through him. Get back. As the creature roared to life, Naruto felt the Hulk's power threaten to overwhelm him. I can't lose control. I won't. With one final effort, he channeled all his energy, combining it with a Raisin Shuriken to create an even larger, more devastating attack. Raisin Shuriken, Fist of the Hulk, he roared, launching the combined attack directly at Deidara and his explosive creature. The resulting explosion was cataclysmic, shaking the very foundations of the Hidden Stone Village. As the smoke cleared, Deidara lay defeated, his body battered and broken. But Naruto felt a sense of foreboding wash over him. The darkness within him was still there, waiting. The aftermath. As they regrouped, the realization of what had happened settled in. They had won, but at what cost? Naruto felt a strange mix of triumph and dread. We need to report back to Kakashi, Sasuke said, his voice steady despite the chaos they had just endured. Yeah, Naruto replied, still feeling the Hulk's presence stirring within him. But we need to keep a closer eye on the others. If Deidara was right, we can't let the Akatsuki exploit my power. Together, we'll figure it out, Sakura said, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Naruto nodded, but deep inside, he knew the battle was far from over. As they made their way back to Kanata, he felt the whispers of the Hulk grow louder, promising strength and power, but at a cost he wasn't ready to pay. The shadows were closing in, and as he looked at his friends, he felt the weight of his choices pressing down on him. With every step, he was reminded that the line between light and dark was thin, and the path ahead would test him like never before. Determined to protect his village and his friends, Naruto steeled himself for the challenges to come. The war against the Akatsuki was just beginning, and he would face it all with the might of the Hulk coursing through his veins no matter the consequences. As Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura made their way back to Kanata, the atmosphere was heavy with the aftermath of their battle with Deidara. The sun was beginning to set, casting an orange glow over the village, and with each step, the weight of the decisions ahead pressed down on Naruto. They entered the village, the familiar sights of Konoha stirring memories of their childhood, laughter, and dreams of becoming stronger. Yet, beneath it all, Naruto felt the Hulk's power still swirling within him, whispering promises of chaos and dominance. Kakashi's strategy. Upon reaching the Hokage Tower, they were greeted by Kakashi, who stood with a serious expression, flanked by several members of the village council. "You're back," he said, his tone grave. "I assume you encountered Deidara." "Yes, and we took him down," Naruto replied, pride swelling within him despite a lingering unease. "But he mentioned that the Akatsuki is still planning something big, especially targeting the Jinchuriki?" Kakashi nodded, his eye narrowing in thought. "We need to prepare. The Akatsuki won't give up easily, especially now that they know you have immense power." "Then we should strike first," Sasuke suggested, his voice firm. "If they want to fight, we should be ready for them." Sakura interjected, "But we need a solid plan. We can't afford to make mistakes." Kakashi considered this, then turned to the council. "We'll need to gather intelligence on the Akatsuki's movements. I'll split the teams to scout various territories and establish defenses around Kanata." Naruto felt a sense of urgency build within him. "I want to be on the front lines. If they are coming for the Jinchuriki, I won't let them get away." Kakashi raised an eyebrow. "Your eagerness is commendable, but we need to be strategic. You can't just charge in without a plan." "I know," Naruto replied, a fire burning in his eyes. "But I can't sit back while others are in danger. I've got to protect my friends." The council exchanged glances, and finally, one of the elders spoke up. "Very well, but you must promise to prioritize caution. The fate of the village is at stake." Preparing for the unknown. After the meeting, the trio gathered at their favorite training ground. The sun dipped below the horizon, and the first stars began to twinkle in the darkening sky. "Do you think we'll really be ready for them?" Sakura asked, worry etched across her features. "What if they target us again?" "We'll be stronger," Sasuke replied, his voice steady. "Especially with Naruto's power?" Naruto clenched his fists, feeling the Hulk's energy radiate within him. "I'll train harder than ever. I can't let my power turn against us." "Just remember," Sakura cautioned, "it's not just about power. We have to work together." Naruto nodded, appreciating her support. "I know. I won't lose sight of that." As they began their training, Naruto felt the familiar thrill of battle awakening within him. He channeled the Hulk's power, focusing it into his techniques, his movements becoming more fluid and dynamic. The training intensifies. Days turned into weeks as they trained relentlessly, honing their skills and preparing for the inevitable confrontation with the Akatsuki. Naruto practiced combining his jutsu with the raw power of the Hulk, creating devastating new techniques that could potentially turn the tide in battle. One evening, as they were training, Kakashi approached them, observing their progress. You've all improved significantly, he commented, a hint of pride in his voice. But remember, it's important to stay grounded. The more power you wield, the greater the risk of losing control. I get it, Naruto replied, determination shining in his eyes. I won't let that happen. I'll find a way to harness it without letting it consume me. Kakashi nodded, but his expression remained serious. You must also prepare for the mental aspect of this journey. The Akatsuki will try to exploit your weaknesses. Don't let them. An ominous visit. Just as they were about to resume their training, a chilling presence filled the air. Naruto instinctively turned, recognizing the chakra's signature almost immediately. No way. Emerging from the shadows was Orochimaru, the infamous rogue ninja, his eyes glinting with a predatory gleam. Hello, Naruto, he said smoothly, his voice dripping with malice. I have come to discuss your potential. Sasuke tensed, preparing for a fight. What do you want, Orochimaru? Orochimaru chuckled, unfazed by their hostility. I'm not here to fight, Sasuke. I'm here to offer Naruto a proposition. You're on the cusp of unimaginable power, and I can help you unlock it further. Naruto's eyes narrowed, suspicion flaring. I don't want anything from you? But you do, Orochimaru continued, a sly smile spreading across his face. You crave strength, don't you? The Hulk within you can be a powerful ally, but only if you learn to embrace the chaos it brings. Enough! Sasuke shouted, stepping forward. Get away from him. Calm yourself, Sasuke, Orochimaru said dismissively. This is about Naruto's future. The Akatsuki will come for him, and they will not hold back. If you wish to protect your precious village, you must consider my offer. Naruto clenched his fists, feeling the Hulk's power stirring at the mention of embracing chaos. I don't need you or your twisted ideas. I'll become stronger on my own. Orochimaru's smile faded slightly, replaced by a calculating look. Suit yourself, but remember, I'll always be watching. Should you decide to change your mind, my door is always open. With a flick of his wrist, Orochimaru vanished into the shadows, leaving a chilling silence in his wake. Struggling with temptation. As the days continued to pass, Naruto found himself increasingly conflicted. Orochimaru's words lingered in his mind, feeding the Hulk's whispers of chaos and power. The more he trained, the more he felt the darkness within him grow stronger, and the more he was tempted to give in to that part of himself. One night, unable to sleep, Naruto found himself standing on the Hulkage Mountain, staring out over Konoha. The village was peaceful, but he felt anything but calm. What if I embraced the Hulk fully, he wondered aloud, feeling the darkness within him beckoning. What if I could be unstoppable? The Hulk's entity surged, urging him to release his true power, to give in to the rage and unleash destruction on those who threatened him. But in the depths of his mind, he also saw the faces of his friends Sakura, Sasuke, Kakashi, those who believed in him, who fought beside him. No, he murmured, shaking his head. I won't let this power control me. Facing his demons. The next day, as they resumed their training, Naruto felt a renewed determination. He would not be a pawn in Orochimaru's game, nor would he let the Hulk's power consume him. He needed to master it, to turn it into a weapon for good rather than a force of destruction. Sasuke and Sakura sensed the change in him, and as they trained, they pushed him to his limits, challenging him to control his power without losing himself. Focus, Naruto, Sasuke called out as they sparred. Don't let the Hulk take over. Naruto concentrated, channeling the Hulk's energy into his jutsu but keeping his emotions in check. I'm in control, he shouted, his voice echoing through the training ground. With each passing day, he felt himself getting closer to mastering the balance between the power of the Hulk and his own will. But with the Akatsuki looming ever closer, he knew the true test was yet to come. The gathering storm. Finally, the day arrived when Kakashi summoned them for a meeting. We've gathered more intelligence on the Akatsuki, he began, his expression grave. They've been moving closer to Konoha. We need to be prepared for an all-out assault. Naruto's heart raced. What's the plan? We'll set up defenses around the village and prepare a counterattack, Kakashi explained. But I need you all to promise that you will stay focused. If the Hulk's power resurfaces, you must keep it contained. I promise, Naruto said, his resolve firm. Sasuke nodded in agreement. We'll fight together. Sakura added, we'll protect each other, no matter what. As the sun set, casting shadows across Kanata, Naruto felt the weight of the coming battle pressing down on him. He was ready to face the Akatsuki, to protect his village and friends at any cost. But he also knew that the battle within himself would be just as crucial. And so, with the storm approaching, he steeled himself for the challenges that lay ahead, determined to embrace his power without losing his humanity. The fate of Konoha and his own hung in the balance. The tension in Konoha thickened as news of the Akatsuki's approach spread. Villagers whispered in hushed tones about the looming threat, fear mingling with determination. Underneath the tranquil surface of their lives, an undercurrent of anxiety coursed through the streets. Naruto felt this palpable tension as he gathered with Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi at the training grounds, preparing for the coming battle. Gathering allies. The team was not alone, the village was rallying, and allies from neighboring villages were being called upon. Shikamaru coordinated the strategy, his sharp mind assessing the strengths and weaknesses of their enemies. Let's keep our defenses strong, he suggested, spreading out a map of the surrounding area. We need to predict where the Akatsuki might strike. Most likely from the north, Kakashi interjected, pointing to the map. That's where they've been spotted the most. We should position our strongest fighters there. Naruto stood, feeling the weight of his impending role as the village's protector. I want to be at the front lines, he insisted. If they want to come for the Jinchuriki, I won't back down. Sasuke shot him a glance. You'll have to trust us to watch your back. We all need to work together. Right, Naruto agreed, clenching his fists, feeling the familiar warmth of the Hulk's power bubbling just beneath the surface. Together. Preparing the village. Days passed in a blur of preparations. The village was alive with activity as shinobi reinforced defenses, set traps, and trained tirelessly. Naruto found himself in the center of it all, pushing himself harder, channeling the Hulk's immense power while keeping it controlled. Focus on your breath, Sakura reminded him during a training session. Find the calm within the chaos. Yeah, I know, Naruto replied, trying to suppress the wild energy within him. But it's hard when I can feel it waiting, just underneath. Don't let it consume you, she urged. You're not alone in this. Sasuke stepped in. You have us, Naruto. We are here to help. Their support gave him strength. Together, they practiced various jutsu and combative techniques, enhancing their teamwork and communication. Each sparring session brought Naruto closer to mastering the balance between his monstrous power and his human instincts. A disturbing encounter. Just as they thought they were ready, a chilling wind swept through Konoha one evening, sending a shiver down their spines. The air grew dense with an unsettling energy, signaling the arrival of the Akatsuki. Something's not right, Naruto muttered, instinctively tensing. Sasuke nodded, his Sharingan activating as he scanned the surroundings. We need to be on guard. Suddenly, a shadow loomed overhead. From the darkness, a figure descended painfully familiar. It was Itachi Uchiha, flanked by Kisame Hashidaki. Uchiha, Sasuke hissed, stepping forward, his dagger flaring. Itachi, Naruto added, a cold resolve settling over him. What are you doing here? Itachi's expression remained impassive, his eyes revealing nothing. We have come to warn you. The Akatsuki will strike soon, and they will not be gentle. What's your game, Itachi? Sasuke demanded, fists clenched. You're a part of them. I am, Itachi replied coolly. But I wish to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. If you truly want to protect Konoha, you must be ready. They won't hold back, especially with the Jinchuriki in their sights. Why should we trust you? Sakura interjected, her voice shaky. Trust is not my intention. I only wish to offer guidance, Itachi replied, his gaze unwavering. Your power will draw them in, Naruto. Do not let it control you. Before they could respond, Itachi turned, leading Kisame away into the shadows. Wait. Suzuki called out, but Itachi was already gone, leaving a lingering unease in the air. Strains of chaos. After the encounter, the team reconvened, discussing the implications of Itachi's warning. What do you think he meant? Sakura wondered aloud, her brow furrowed with concern. I think he's trying to warn us, Suzuki replied, the tension still evident in his voice. But it's hard to know if he has ulterior motives. Regardless, we need to prepare, Naruto said, feeling the Hulk's energy thrumming within him, yearning for a release. I'll be ready for them. No matter what it takes. But as the days wore on, Naruto began to feel the strain of controlling the Hulk's power. Every sparring session left him more exhausted, the whispers of chaos growing louder, tempting him to give in. The darkness within him was hungry, and he feared that his resolve might not hold. The calm before the storm. As the final preparations were made, the village fell eerily quiet. The shinobi were ready, but an undercurrent of anxiety lingered. Naruto stood atop the Hokage mountain, gazing out over the village he had sworn to protect. The sun was setting, casting an orange hue over Kanata, reminiscent of the day he first dreamed of becoming Hokage. But now, his thoughts were clouded by the darkness threatening to engulf him. Focus, he whispered to himself. You are in control. But even as he said it, he felt a Hulk stirring within, a volatile force ready to explode. Am I really in control? He questioned. Or am I just waiting to unleash something terrible? With the Akatsuki looming, the answer felt urgent. The night of reckoning. Finally, the fateful night arrived. Naruto stood shoulder to shoulder with Suzuki and Sakura, ready to defend their home. The moon hung high in the sky, illuminating the path for the incoming threat. Remember, stay sharp, Kakashi instructed the gathered shinobi. We don't know how many of them there are. The tension was palpable as they awaited the inevitable clash. Suddenly, the peace was shattered by the sound of explosions echoing from the outskirts of the village. Shouts rang out as alarm bells blared, signaling the assault. Let's move, Kakashi ordered, leading the charge. Naruto felt a rush of adrenaline, the Hulk's power bubbling to the surface as they raced toward the source of the chaos. As they arrived, they were met with a sight of Akatsuki members wreaking havoc, their intentions clear. Pain, the leader, stood at the forefront, surrounded by his loyal members. You're too late, Kanata, Pain declared, his voice booming. The time for reckoning has come. Naruto stepped forward, adrenaline surging. Not while I'm here, he roared, feeling the Hulk's energy ignite within him. The clash of titans. The battle erupted, chaos filling the air as jutsu collided. Naruto felt the familiar thrill of combat as he unleashed his power, the Hulk's might coursing through him. He launched himself at Pain, fists clenched, ready to destroy anything in his path. Raisin Shuriken, he yelled, launching the spiraling attack toward Pain. But the leader deflected it effortlessly, a smirk dancing on his lips. You're powerful, but it won't be enough, Pain taunted. Naruto felt rage bubbling inside him, the Hulk's presence demanding to be unleashed. I won't let you win, he shouted, and with that, he let the energy explode forth, transforming into the embodiment of the Hulk. Feel the wrath of the Hulk, he bellowed, charging forward with unrestrained fury. The ground trembled beneath him as he pummeled Pain with devastating blows, the landscape around him erupting with each impact. The Akatsuki members faltered in the face of his power, fear etched on their faces. Is this all you've got? He taunted, letting the Hulk's rage take over. As the battle raged on, Naruto felt the darkness within him begin to spiral, threatening to consume him completely. He was fighting not just for his friends, but for his very soul. A struggle for control. As the fight continued, Naruto faced wave after wave of Akatsuki attacks, each one pushing him closer to the edge. Pain unleashed his multiple bodies, each one attacking relentlessly, but Naruto met their onslaught with the raw power of the Hulk. Yet, amidst the chaos, he felt a part of himself slipping. The Hulk was powerful, but it was also wild and unpredictable. He had to stay focused, to harness the strength without losing himself. "Focus," he shouted, the words echoing in his mind. "You control the Hulk. It does not control you." But as pain advanced, unleashing a devastating attack, Naruto felt a darkness clawing at the edges of his consciousness. Just as he thought he could regain control, he was caught in a moment of hesitation. "Embrace your power, Naruto," the Hulk roared, the energy surging with primal fury. "No," he shouted back, struggling against the overwhelming temptation to give in. "I won't let you take over." The ultimate choice. In that moment, Naruto felt the familiar warmth of his friends surrounding him. He saw Sasuke and Sakura fighting valiantly, refusing to back down against impossible odds. Together, he shouted, channeling their shared strength. "We fight together." With renewed resolve, Naruto tapped into the Hulk's power but redirected it, transforming it into a massive energy wave that surged toward Pain and his minions. "Raise Nan!" he yelled, combining the jutsu with the Hulk's raw energy. The resulting attack was a catastrophic explosion that illuminated the night sky, sending shockwaves rippling through the battlefield. The Akatsuki members were thrown back, caught off guard by the force of his attack. Pain staggered, clearly struggling to regain control. "I won't let you destroy my home," Naruto roared, the combined will of his friends fueling his strength. A new dawn. The chaos of battle continued, but Naruto felt a shift within him. He was still powerful, but he had regained control. He was not just the Hulk, he was Naruto Uzumaki, the protector of Kanata. As he pressed forward, fighting alongside Sasuke and Sakura, the bonds of friendship empowered him. They fought as a unit, countering the Akatsuki's strategies with precision and teamwork. As the night wore on, the tides of battle began to turn. The Akatsuki members faltered, caught off guard by the ferocity of Kanata's defenders. Naruto could feel the adrenaline pulsing through him as he clashed with Pain one final time. "This ends now," he shouted, unleashing a flurry of strikes infused with both his own chakra and the Hulk's overwhelming strength. Pain, quartered, finally acknowledged the sheer power before him. "You are stronger than I anticipated," he said, his voice a mixture of awe and resentment. "Damn right," Naruto shouted, his determination unwavering. "I'll protect my village no matter what." With one final surge of energy, Naruto launched his ultimate jutsu, a Raisin Shuriken infused with the full power of the Hulk. The attack spiraled toward Pain, illuminating the night with its brilliant light. The aftermath. As the dust settled, the battlefield fell eerily silent. The Akatsuki lay defeated, their ambitions thwarted by the combined strength of Kanata's shinobi. Naruto stood among the rebel, panting heavily but feeling victorious. He glanced at Sasuke and Sakura, who approached him, their expressions filled with pride and relief. "We did it," Sakura said, her eyes shining with tears. Sasuke nodded, his usual stoicism softened. "Yeah, we actually did." Naruto felt a surge of warmth. "Together, we can do anything." But beneath his triumph, he couldn't shake the feeling of the Hulk's lingering presence within him. The struggle wasn't over, the battle for control continued. As dawn broke over Kanata, painting the sky in hues of orange and gold, Naruto knew that while the Akatsuki threat had been quelled for now, greater challenges awaited. He had tasted the power of the Hulk and faced the darkness within, but the journey of balancing that power with his humanity was just beginning. And as he looked toward the horizon, determination etched on his face, he vowed to embrace both sides of himself to protect his village and those he loved, no matter the cost. The sun rose over Kanata, casting a warm light over the village. The aftermath of the battle against the Akatsuki left its mark. Crumbling buildings and the somber faces of the villagers reminded Naruto of the fragile peace they fought to protect. But amidst the rubble, there was also hope. They had fought bravely, and together, they had triumphed. A time for reflection. As Naruto walked through the village, he took in the scenes of reconstruction, where shinobi and villagers worked side by side. There was a sense of camaraderie, a bond forged in battle, and it filled him with pride. Yet, deep within him, the remnants of the Hulk's rage lingered, a constant reminder of the power he wielded and the chaos that could erupt at any moment. "Hey, Naruto?" Sakura's voice pulled him from his thoughts. She approached with a smile, but concern flickered in her eyes. "You okay? You seemed lost." "Just thinking," he replied, forcing a smile. "About what's next?" "We stopped the Akatsuki this time, but they're not going to give up." Sakura nodded, her expression growing serious. "We need to stay prepared. They'll come back, and next time, they might not be alone. Or they could be stronger," Sasuke added, joining them. His dark eyes held a fire that reflected the recent battle. "We have to train harder. We need to find out what they are planning." The trio stood together, united in their resolve. "Let's go find Kakashi," Naruto suggested. "We need a strategy session." The return of the Hokage. As they made their way to the Hokage's office, Naruto felt a familiar surge of energy within him, the Hulk's power simmering beneath the surface. He was learning to control it, but it was a constant struggle. He couldn't afford to let it take over, especially now that they were facing a growing threat. Kakashi awaited them, leaning back in his chair, a rare seriousness replacing his usual nonchalance. "I'm glad you're here. We need to discuss the Akatsuki and their next moves." "What do you know?" Sasuke asked, leaning forward, his curiosity piqued. Kakashi sighed, a flicker of worry in his eye. "I've been gathering intel on their movements. It seems they've been searching for more Jinchuriki, aiming to collect them for their plans. We're not just a target anymore, we're part of a bigger scheme." "Then we need to step up our training," Naruto insisted, determination filling his voice. "I can't just wait for them to attack again. I want to be ready." "You are already powerful, Naruto," Kakashi replied, a hint of admiration in his tone. "But remember that power alone won't be enough. You need strategy, teamwork, and control." "Control," Naruto echoed, the word hanging heavily in the air. It was a reminder of his unknowing battle with the Hulk within him. The plan takes shape. As the discussion continued, they outlined their strategy to bolster the village's defenses and prepare for potential attacks. Shikamaru's strategies were invaluable, and the team dedicated themselves to rigorous training, honing their skills and preparing for the challenges that lay ahead. Days turned into weeks, and Naruto poured himself into training. He sparred with Sasuke, pushed himself to the limits with Sakura, and sought advice from Kakashi. He learned new jutsu and explored ways to harness the Hulk's energy without losing control. One evening, as they finished a particularly intense training session, Naruto collapsed onto the grass, panting heavily. "I can't keep doing this," he groaned, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "No matter how hard I train, I can still feel the Hulk waiting for a chance to break free." Sasuke, leaning against a tree, replied, "You can't run from it, Naruto. You need to accept that part of yourself." "But what if I lose control?" Naruto shot back, sitting up. "What if I hurt someone? What if I hurt you guys?" "You won't," Sakura reassured him, kneeling beside him. "You have us. We're here to help you. Just like we did against the Akatsuki." Naruto nodded, but doubt still gnawed at him. "What if one day, I can't control it? What if the Hulk decides he wants to take over?" "We'll deal with it," Sasuke said with an intensity that left no room for argument. "We'll always be there to bring you back." "Yeah," Naruto agreed, drawing strength from their words. Together. A dark cloud approaches. As the days wore on, Naruto and his friends continued their training, but a sense of unease hung in the air. The Akatsuki were silent, but that only heightened their suspicions. It felt like a storm was brewing on the horizon, and they were waiting for the lightning to strike. One evening, while training, Naruto sensed a disturbance in the air, a heaviness that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. The energy within him stirred, responding to the impending chaos. "What is it?" Sakura asked, noticing his sudden change in demeanor. "I don't know," he replied, scanning the surroundings. "Something feels off." Suddenly, a chilling howl pierced the air, sending shivers down their spines. The three exchanged worried glances as they readied themselves for whatever lay ahead. "Stay close," Shizuke instructed, activating his Sharingan as he focused on the sound. As they moved cautiously through the village, a shadow loomed on the outskirts. Naruto's instincts kicked in, the Hulk's presence rising to meet the challenge. "Prepare yourselves," Naruto shouted, adrenaline coursing through him. "Something's coming." The first strike. Without warning, a group of cloaked figures emerged from the shadows, their red clouds billowing against the twilight sky. It was the Akatsuki, and they were ready for war. "Looks like we don't have to wait long," Shizuke said, his expression darkening. Pain stepped forward, flanked by his loyal members. "Kaneda," he declared, his voice cold and commanding. "You have caused us trouble, and now you will pay the price." "Not if we have anything to say about it," Naruto shouted, feeling the Hulk surge within him, eager for battle. As the confrontation escalated, Naruto transformed, the power of the Hulk erupting from him in an explosion of energy. The ground trembled as he faced the Akatsuki with fury and determination. "Let's see what you've got," he roared, charging forward. The battle unfolds. The battle erupted in chaos. Naruto led the charge, his immense power striking fear into the hearts of the Akatsuki members. He unleashed a flurry of punches, each one amplified by the Hulk's raw energy. The force of his blows created shockwaves that knocked back his enemies, sending them sprawling. Shizuke joined the fray, unleashing a barrage of lightning-infused attacks, while Sakura utilized her medical ninjutsu to keep their allies in the fight. Together, they formed an unbreakable trio, pushing back against the Akatsuki's assault. But the enemy was relentless. The remaining members attacked with precision, their strategies tested against Konoha's formidable defenders. Naruto found himself surrounded by multiple Akatsuki members, each one attempting to exploit his focus. "Don't let them distract you," Shizuke yelled, leaping in to engage a foe, his Sharingan blazing. Naruto fought fiercely, but the overwhelming numbers began to wear him down. The Hulk's rage threatened to take over, but he fought to keep control. He couldn't allow the darkness to consume him, especially not in a moment like this. An unexpected turn. Just when it seemed that the battle would escalate into utter chaos, a familiar figure appeared on the battlefield, the ghostly form of Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage and Naruto's father. "Father!" Naruto exclaimed, feeling a rush of emotion. "You're here." Minato's presence radiated calm, grounding Naruto in the midst of the chaos. "Naruto," he said, his voice steady. "Remember who you are. You are stronger than the darkness that threatens to consume you." With those words, a surge of energy coursed through Naruto, and he felt the Hulk's rage begin to settle. "I will protect everyone," he declared, channeling his emotions into a focused power that surged through him. The battle raged on, but with his father's guidance echoing in his mind, Naruto felt a renewed sense of purpose. He fought with unwavering resolve, determined to protect his friends and village at all costs. A new strategy. The tide of battle began to shift as Naruto fought alongside Shizuke and Sakura. Their team were becoming a powerful force. They executed their techniques with precision, countering the Akatsuki's onslaught and pushing them back. "We need to separate them," Sakura called out, her determination shining through. "If we can break their formation, we can take them down one by one." "Let's do it," Naruto shouted, rallying his friends. Together, they strategized on the fly, coordinating their attacks to isolate the Akatsuki members. Naruto focused his energy, transforming it into a colossal Raizen Shuriken. "Shizuke, cover me," he yelled as he prepared to launch his attack. "Got it," Shizuke responded, unleashing a barrage of lightning to distract their foes. With a powerful shout, Naruto launched the Raizen Shuriken, its spiraling energy slicing through the air and striking a group of Akatsuki members. The explosion wrought the battlefield, sending debris flying and leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. The final confrontation. As the battle wore on, Naruto found himself facing pain once more. The leader of the Akatsuki stood tall, his expression unreadable. "You've become a formidable opponent, Naruto," he acknowledged, a hint of respect in his voice. "But your power will never match that of the Akatsuki? Watch me." Naruto shouted, feeling the Hulk's rage and his own determination meld into one. "I won't let you destroy my village or my friends." With a final surge of energy, Naruto unleashed a devastating attack, one that combined the Hulk's overwhelming strength with his own jutsu. The resulting explosion illuminated the night sky, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. The aftermath. As the dust settled, the remaining Akatsuki members retreated, defeated, and demoralized. Naruto stood among his friends, breathing heavily but feeling victorious. He had faced his demons both external and internal and emerged stronger. "You did it, Naruto," Sakura said, her eyes shining with pride. "You really did it." "We all did," he replied, a smile breaking through the exhaustion. "Together." But deep within him, the struggle continued. The Hulk's presence lingered, a constant reminder of the darkness that resided within. Naruto knew that his journey was far from over. He had conquered this battle, but greater challenges awaited. As he looked out over the village, Naruto felt a renewed sense of purpose. He would embrace the power he had inherited, harnessing it to protect those he loved. The journey ahead would be fraught with peril, but he would face it head-on, determined to keep his friends and village safe. And so, the story continued, a tale of strength, determination, and the battle between light and darkness that lay within Naruto Uzumaki, the reincarnation of World Breaker Hulk. The village buzzed with activity as Konoha's citizens began to rebuild, tending to the damage left by the Akatsuki's attack. Though the battle had ended in victory, the scars it left ran deep. Naruto stood on a rooftop, overlooking the bustling streets below, the sun casting long shadows as twilight approached. The weight of power. Despite their recent triumph, Naruto felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. The Hulk's power thrummed beneath the surface, restless and eager. It was a constant reminder that he was more than just a shinobi, he was a force of nature. And while he had embraced that part of himself during the battle, he feared what it meant for the future. "Hey," a familiar voice broke his thoughts. Sakura joined him on the rooftop, her expression thoughtful. "You okay?" "Just thinking," he replied, turning to look at her. "About the next battle, and what it'll take to protect everyone." Sakura took a seat next to him, her gaze shifting to the village below. "We've faced so much together. No matter what comes next, we'll handle it as a team. That's what makes us strong." "Yeah," he said, forcing a smile. "You're right. But I can't help but feel like I need to be stronger. I don't want to let anyone down." "You won't," she reassured him. "You're already stronger than most. Besides, you've got us to back you up." Naruto felt a swell of warmth in his chest at her words. The bond they shared was powerful, but the threat of the Akatsuki loomed large in his mind. The calm before the storm. Days passed, and Konoha returned to a semblance of normalcy. Naruto trained diligently, pushing himself harder each day. He practiced new techniques and refined his control over the Hulk's energy, seeking to blend it with his chakra rather than letting it consume him. However, the peace was short-lived. Whispers of another threat began to circulate, rumors of an enemy gathering strength in the shadows. The Akatsuki were not done yet, and Naruto could feel the tension in the air like the stillness before a storm. One evening, during a team meeting at the Hokage's office, Kakashi shared troubling intel. "I've received reports of unusual movements in the land of rain. It seems the Akatsuki are regrouping, and there's talk of an even greater plan involving the tail beasts. They are after the Jinchuriki again," Naruto said, anger simmering just beneath the surface. "We can't let them get away with this. We need to act fast," Sasuke added, leaning forward. "We can't afford to wait until they strike again." Kakashi nodded, his demeanor serious. I agree. We need to prepare our defenses and gather information on their activities. Shikamaru, I'll need your insight to devise a strategy. The gathering storm. As they formulated their plan, Naruto felt the familiar thrum of the Hulk within him, a reminder of the chaos that could arise at any moment. He had to stay focused. He couldn't let the Ender take control again, especially not now. Over the next few weeks, they executed their plan, sending teams out to gather intelligence while also bolstering the village's defenses. Training became more intense, with Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura pushing each other to their limits. One evening, while sparring with Sasuke, Naruto felt his Ender flare as he struggled to control the Hulk's energy. He unleashed a powerful punch, sending Sasuke skidding back. Easy there. Sasuke yelled, recovering quickly. You need to keep your head in the game. Yeah, I know. Naruto snapped back, frustration boiling over. It's just. I can feel it. I can feel the Hulk wanting to break free. Then use it. Sasuke shouted, his eyes blazing with determination. Harness that power instead of letting it control you. You have to find balance. Naruto took a deep breath, grounding himself. He couldn't let the Hulk's Ender dictate his actions. He had to master it, to use it as a weapon against his enemies rather than a threat to his friends. A shifting threat. As the days turned to weeks, the tension in the village grew. The Akatsuki remained silent, but their presence loomed like a dark cloud on the horizon. Then, late one night, a messenger arrived with alarming news. The Akatsuki are moving, a breathless shinobi shouted as he burst into the Hulkish's office. They've infiltrated the land of rain, and they are gathering their forces. Kakashi's expression hardened. We need to mobilize our forces immediately. Gather the teams and prepare for deployment. Naruto felt a surge of adrenaline. I'm ready, he declared, determination lighting his eyes. We need to stop them before they can strike. As they prepared for battle, Naruto felt the Hulk's energy swell within him, eager for the fight ahead. He steeled himself, reminding himself of the importance of control and focus. Into the heart of darkness. The next day, Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, and a team of elite shinobi set out for the land of rain. As they journeyed, the atmosphere grew heavy with anticipation. They traveled through dense forests and treacherous terrain, always on high alert for potential ambushes. Upon arriving at the border of the land of rain, they set up a temporary camp to strategize their approach. The air was thick with tension, and Naruto could sense the Hulk's restlessness beneath the surface. Sasuke, Naruto said, his voice low, if we encounter pain again, I might not be able to hold back. You have to try, Sasuke replied, meeting Naruto's gaze. But if it gets out of control, just remember we are here to help. We're a team, no matter what. Right, Naruto agreed, feeling a flicker of hope. With his friends by his side, he could face anything. As they prepared for the inevitable clash with the Akatsuki, a cold wind swept through the camp, sending a chill down Naruto's spine. He felt the presence of danger lurking just beyond the trees. The first encounter. That night, while the group was resting, Naruto awoke to the sound of rustling leaves and soft whispers. His instincts kicked in, and he quietly slipped out of his tent, scanning the surroundings. Suddenly, he spotted a figure cloaked in darkness, a sinister presence that sent alarm bells ringing in his head. Who's there? He called out, his voice steady despite the rising tension. The figure stepped into the light, revealing himself as one of the Akatsuki members Kisame Hoshinaki. Ah, the brat with the power of the beast, he sneered, his shark-like grin sending a shiver down Naruto's spine. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Get away from here? Naruto shouted, feeling the Hulk's energy bubbling beneath the surface. I won't let you take anyone else. Kisame laughed, drawing his sword, the water around him beginning to swirl ominously. Let's see what you can do, little boy. Without hesitation, Naruto transformed, the Hulk's power surging forth as he prepared to fight. The air crackled with energy, and as he charged, He could feel the darkness threatening to engulf him, but he pushed it back. The Clash of Titans. The two clashed in a whirlwind of fury, Naruto's raw strength against Kisane's water manipulation. Waves crashed and splashed around them as they fought fiercely, each strike echoing through the night. "Is that all you've got?" Kisane taunted, dodging Naruto's powerful blows with surprising agility. "Not even close." Naruto roared, launching a barrage of punches, each one packed with the Hulk's energy. The ground shook beneath their feet as they traded blows, the intensity of their fight drawing the attention of the other shinobi in the camp. Sakura and Sasuke emerged from their tents, their eyes wide with shock at the sight of the battle unfolding before them. "Stay back," Sasuke shouted, activating his Sharingan to assess the situation. "Naruto, you have to control it." "Shut up," Naruto yelled, losing himself in the fight. He was powerful, unstoppable, and the Hulk within him reveled in the chaos. But with every punch, he felt the boundaries of his control fraying, the darkness beckoning him to lose himself completely. Kisane smirked, sensing Naruto's struggle. "You think you can handle that power? It's going to consume you." "No," Naruto yelled, clenching his fists. "I won't let it." The moment of truth. As the fight escalated, Naruto unleashed a powerful attack, a massive punch that sent Kisane crashing into the ground, creating a small crater. But even as he struck, he felt the Hulk's anger boiling within him, threatening to spiral out of control. "Is this really how you want to fight?" Sakura called out, her voice cutting through the chaos. "You're stronger than this, Naruto. Remember who you're fighting for." Her words penetrated the haze of rage clouding his mind. With a shaky breath, he focused on his friends, their faces, their hopes, and their shared dreams. "I won't lose myself," he murmured, fighting back against the Hulk's urge to consume him. Kisame, stunned by the sudden shift in Naruto's demeanor, struggled to regain his footing. "What are you doing?" he hissed. "This isn't a game." With renewed clarity, Naruto channeled his energy into a single powerful attack, combining his own strength with the Hulk's rage in a controlled burst. "Raise Nan!" he shouted, slamming the swirling sphere into Kisame, sending him flying back. The impact reverberated through the trees, and Kisame crashed into the ground, defeated. Victory in the path ahead. Breathing heavily, Naruto stood tall, the remnants of the Hulk's energy swirling around him. He had faced the darkness within and emerged victorious, but he knew this was only the beginning. Sasuke and Sakura approached him, their expressions a mixture of awe and concern. "You did it, Naruto," Sakura said, her voice shaky with excitement. "You controlled it." "Yeah," he replied, still catching his breath. "But we're not done yet. The Akatsuki won't stop with just one member. We need to keep moving," Sasuke said, glancing around. There could be more of them lurking nearby. As they regrouped, Naruto felt a sense of purpose ignite within him. He had faced his demons and proven to himself that he could control the power within him. But the journey was far from over. With his friends by his side, he knew they would face whatever came next together. The storm was brewing on the horizon, and Naruto Uzumaki was ready to meet it head-on. The following morning, the team regrouped, their resolve bolstered by the victory over Kisame. The night's battle had shown him the potential dangers that lay ahead, but it also revealed Naruto's growing ability to control the Hulk's immense power. Still, he knew that his journey to mastery was only beginning. Plans and strategy. As dawn broke, the group gathered at their camp. Kakashi, having received updates on the recent events, joined them, his expression serious. "We need to take the fight to them," he said, surveying the team. "Kisame is just one member of the Akatsuki, and they will not take kindly to their failure." Sasuke leaned forward, arms crossed. "We need to find their base of operations. If we can hit them hard and fast, we might disrupt their plans. We also need to gather intel on the rest of the Akatsuki," Naruto added, his tone steady. "If they are working together, we can't underestimate them." Sakura nodded in agreement. "And we need to make sure we're not walking into a trap," With the plan set, the group split into two teams, one to scout the area and gather intel, the other to strengthen the village's defenses in case of retaliation. Naruto felt a surge of anticipation coursing through him. This was what he was made for. A dangerous encounter. As they ventured deeper into the land of rain, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. The sky darkened with clouds, and a light drizzle began to fall, soaking the ground beneath their feet. It was a fitting backdrop for the challenges they faced. While scouting the terrain, Naruto felt a familiar icy-cling at the back of his mind. Danger was lurking nearby. "Sasuke, Sakura, keep your guard up," he warned, his senses on high alert. Suddenly, a burst of energy erupted from the trees, and a figure emerged, a tall man with spiky hair and an ominous aura, dressed in the Akatsuki cloak. "So, you've come to play, have you?" Haiden taunted, brandishing his scythe with a twisted grin. "Let's see how well you handle pain." "Watch out!" Sakura shouted as Haiden lunged at them, the blade of his scythe gleaming ominously. Naruto felt the Hulk's power surge within him, eager for battle. He stepped forward, ready to face the threat head-on. "I won't let you hurt my friends." The dance of death. Haiden laughed maniacally as he swung his scythe, aiming for Naruto's head. The air crackled with energy as Naruto dodged, channeling the Hulk's strength to retaliate with a powerful kick that sent Haiden stumbling back. But Haiden was quick, flitting back to his feet with a smirk. "You're strong, but can you keep up with my curse?" He drew a symbol on the ground, and Naruto felt an unsettling chill race down his spine. "What the hell are you doing?" Naruto demanded, narrowing his eyes. "Just a little ritual," Haiden said, eyes gleaming with madness. "You'll be my next sacrifice." Before Naruto could react, Haiden plunged the scythe into his own chest, grinning through the pain. "Now, we're connected. You can't escape. Don't let him get to you," Sasuke shouted, eyes locked onto Haiden. "We need to take him down quickly." Naruto's heart raced as he felt a dark energy clawing at his mind, trying to ensnare him. "Get away from him," he roared, feeling the Hulk rise to the surface. He punched the ground, sending a shockwave that knocked Haiden off balance. "Impressive," Haiden sneered, regaining his footing. "But you'll need more than brute strength to defeat me." A battle of wills. As the fight raged on, Naruto found himself caught in a whirlwind of anger and confusion. Haiden's curse threatened to pull him into a dark abyss, but he fought against it, drawing strength from his friends. "Focus, Naruto!" Sakura shouted, launching a barrage of kunai toward Haiden. "Don't let him get to you." Haiden dodged, laughing. "You think your little friends can save you? This is a one-on-one fight." "Enough of this!" Naruto shouted, summoning the Hulk's energy. "You'll pay for underestimating me." He unleashed a massive punch, channeling the Hulk's rage into a devastating blow. Haiden staggered but quickly regained his footing, his expression a mix of pain and madness. "You'll regret that." In a frenzy, Haiden swung his scythe, aiming for Naruto again. This time, Naruto dodged with ease, feeling the Hulk's instincts guiding him. He countered with a swift kick, sending Haiden crashing into a nearby tree. As Haiden struggled to stand, the connection between them faltered, and Naruto seized the opportunity. "Raise Nan!" he shouted, focusing his chakra into the swirling sphere of energy. The decisive blow. Haiden's eyes widened as Naruto charged forward, the Raise-Nan glowing brightly in his hands. With a final surge of power, he slammed the technique into Haiden's chest, the impact sending shockwaves through the forest. Haiden let out a strangled scream as the energy enveloped him, and he was thrown back, crashing into the ground. The symbol he had drawn dissipated, and the dark energy that had threatened to consume Naruto evaporated into the air. Breathing heavily, Naruto stood over Haiden's defeated form. "That's what you get for underestimating me." Sasuke and Sakura rushed to his side, eyes filled with admiration and concern. "You did it, Naruto!" Sakura exclaimed, beaming. "You controlled it." "Yeah," Sasuke added, his expression serious. "But we can't let our guard down." There might be more Akatsuki members nearby. The hidden truths. As they began to move again, Naruto felt a wave of exhaustion wash over him. The battle had been intense, and while he had managed to control the Hulk's energy, he knew it wouldn't always be that easy. The darkness within was always lurking, ready to rear its head. As they traveled further into the land of rain, they stumbled upon a hidden encampment. It was there that they overheard murmurs about the Akatsuki's grand plan, something far more dangerous than they had anticipated. "We have to warn the village," Naruto said, determination igniting within him. "Whatever they are planning, we can't let it happen." But as they prepared to leave, a chilling realization struck Naruto. The Akatsuki's true goals were now clear. They aimed to capture the remaining Jinchuriki and harness their power to achieve godlike supremacy. The calm before the storm. The group hurried back to their camp, knowing they had to act fast. Once there, they regrouped and quickly began formulating a plan to warn Konoha and prepare for the impending attack. "I'll go back to the village," Naruto declared, his voice firm. "I need to warn them about the Akatsuki's plans." "Are you sure about this?" Sasuke asked, concern etched on his face. "You'll be putting yourself in danger." "I have to do this," Naruto insisted. "If they are coming for the Jinchuriki, I won't let them take anyone else." Sakura stepped forward, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We'll go with you. We're a team, and we'll face whatever comes together." "Yeah," Sasuke added, a rare smile creeping onto his face. "Besides, it's more fun to take them down together." As they prepared for the journey back, Naruto felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. The challenges ahead would test their strength and resolve, but he was ready. He wouldn't let the darkness consume him, not now, not ever. And shadow in the night. As they made their way back to Konoha, the atmosphere grew heavy with tension. The closer they got to the village, the more Naruto could sense the Akatsuki's impending threat looming over them. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, blocking their path. It was another member of the Akatsuki, one Naruto recognized instantly: Deidara, the explosives expert known for his art and cunning. Well, Deidara said, smirking as he twirled a clay figure in his hands. "Look what we have here, a little gathering of Jinchuriki and their friends. How quaint. Get out of our way," Naruto shouted, feeling the Hulk's energy rise within him. "We won't let you stop us." Deidara laughed, the sound echoing in the air. "Oh, I'm afraid you don't have a choice. I'm here to deliver a message from my leader: prepare for your doom." The battle resumes. With that, Deidara unleashed his clay creations, birds soaring into the sky and diving toward the group. Naruto reacted instantly, the Hulk's instincts kicking in as he prepared to defend his friends. "Get back," he yelled, forming a protective barrier of chakra. The birds exploded on impact, scattering debris and smoke everywhere. "Focus on the real threat," Sasuke shouted, his Sharingan activated as he scanned the area for Deidara. But Deidara was quick, using his clay bombs to create distractions while he prepared for a more devastating attack. "Art is an explosion," he declared, laughter filling the air. Naruto felt the Hulk's power surging within him, and he could no longer hold back. "You want an explosion? I'll show you one." He charged at Deidara, fists clenched, ready to unleash the full extent of his might. The awakening of power. In a blinding flash, Naruto propelled himself forward, the ground cracking beneath him as he leaped into the air. "Raisin Shuriken," he roared, spinning the technique with all his might. Deidara's eyes widened in shock as the massive, spiraling shuriken flew toward him, engulfing everything in its path. The explosion shook the earth, creating a shockwave that sent Deidara sprawling. As the dust settled, Naruto landed gracefully, breathing heavily but exhilarated. "That's how you handle an explosion?" But the victory was short-lived. From the smoke emerged Deidara, battered but alive. "You think that was enough to stop me?" he spat, his expression twisted with rage. "The battle continues." "Enough of this," Sasuke yelled, leaping into the fray. He unleashed a barrage of fireballs, combining his elemental jutsu with Naruto's. Sakura joined in, using her medical ninjutsu to bolster Naruto's strength and heal any wounds inflicted during the battle. Together, they formed an unstoppable force. Realizing he was outnumbered, Deidara attempted to flee. "This isn't over. The Akatsuki will come for you," he shouted before disappearing into the smoke. The aftermath. With Deidara gone, the trio stood panting, adrenaline coursing through their veins. "We need to move fast," Naruto said, urgency in his voice. "If he gets back to the Akatsuki, they'll come for us all." Sasuke nodded. "We need to warn the village and prepare for their assault. They won't stop until they have what they want." As they made their way back to Kanade, Naruto's resolve strengthened. He would do whatever it took to protect his friends and his home. The darkness within him was powerful, but he would control it, channel it into strength. A new resolve. As they approached the gates of Kanade, Naruto felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, but he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. He wouldn't let the Akatsuki succeed. With his friends by his side, he would fight to the bitter end. "Let's go," he said, determination blazing in his eyes. "We have a village to save." The sun set behind them, casting long shadows as they raced toward their destiny, unaware of the storm brewing on the horizon. As Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura approached the village gates, the familiar sights of Konoha brought a wave of nostalgia and urgency. The bustling streets filled with villagers, merchants selling their goods, and children playing were a stark contrast to the ominous threat that loomed over them. But Naruto couldn't afford to be distracted. The Akatsuki were a real danger, and they needed to act fast. Gathering the troops. Once inside the village, Naruto led the way to the Hokish's office. The urgency in his steps reflected the gravity of the situation. As they entered, they found Tsunade engrossed in reports and discussions with her advisors. "Tsunade," Naruto called, catching her attention. "We need to talk." She looked up, her expression shifting from annoyance to concern as she recognized the urgency in his voice. "What is it, Naruto?" "The Akatsuki are planning something big," he said, glancing at Sasuke and Sakura for support. "We encountered Haiden and Deidara. They are coming for the Jinchuriki, and we need to prepare." Tsunade's eyes narrowed as she processed the information. "You're sure about this?" "Absolutely," Sasuke chimed in. "We can't underestimate them. They'll try to attack Kanade, and we need to bolster our defenses." Tsunade's expression hardened. "All right. We'll gather the Jonin and prepare the village for an imminent attack. If what you say is true, we don't have much time." With the meeting concluded, Naruto felt a sense of purpose reignite within him. The village was his home, and he would protect it at all costs. Rallying the shinobi. Within the hour, the news spread through Konoha like wildfire. Shinobi from all quarters of the village gathered for an emergency meeting. The atmosphere was tense as Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura stood before the assembled forces, each member of the village's elite watching intently. Naruto stepped forward, feeling the weight of their gazes. "Everyone. We've faced many challenges before, but this one is different. The Akatsuki won't stop until they have what they want. We need to unite and prepare for anything they throw at us." The crowd murmured in agreement, tension crackling in the air. Kakashi stepped forward, his voice calm but commanding. "Naruto is right. We need to prepare both offensively and defensively. We have to be ready for anything." Shikamaru raised his hand, his brow furrowed in thought. "I'll coordinate the defensive strategies. We should set traps around the village and have lookout teams stationed in key areas." "Good idea," Tsunade agreed, nodding. "And I'll reinforce our medical teams. If a battle breaks out, we'll need everyone to be ready to heal our injured." As the leaders began to organize their forces, Naruto felt a swell of pride. Konoha had been through so much, yet they always found a way to stand strong together. An unseen threat. While preparations were underway, Naruto couldn't shake the feeling that the Akatsuki were already among them, biding their time. He decided to take matters into his own hands, gathering his small team to scout the perimeter of the village. Sasuke and Sakura joined him, their expressions resolute. As they moved through the familiar streets of Kanata, Naruto felt the presence of the Hulk within him, ever watchful. The beast was a part of him now, and he embraced its instincts as they ventured deeper into the forest surrounding the village. "Keep your eyes open," Sasuke instructed, scanning the area with his Sharingan. "If they are planning an attack, they'll likely want to catch us off guard." Sakura nodded, her senses heightened. "I can feel something in the air. It's tense." Suddenly, Naruto stopped, the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. "Did you feel that?" he asked, his voice low. Before anyone could respond, a group of cloaked figures emerged from the shadows, their presence suffocating. The air grew thick with an unsettling energy. It was the Akatsuki. The first confrontation. "Look who we have here," one of them, a tall figure with long, white hair and red eyes, stepped forward. "The infamous Naruto Uzumaki and his friends. It's cute that you think you can stop us." "Pain," Naruto hissed, recognizing the leader of the Akatsuki. "What do you want?" Pain's expression remained cold and unyielding. "We are here for what is ours. The Jinchuriki will be ours, and there's nothing you can do to stop us. Not if we have anything to say about it," Sasuke shouted, stepping forward, ready to defend. "Fools," Pain replied, raising his hand. "You don't understand the power we wield. You're merely pawns in a game far beyond your comprehension." With that, Pain unleashed a wave of energy, sending debris flying in all directions. The forest erupted into chaos as Naruto felt the Hulk surge within him, ready to explode. "Get back!" Naruto roared, summoning his chakra. "We won't let you take anyone." Battle of the Titans. The confrontation escalated rapidly. Naruto charged forward, the ground shaking beneath him as he tapped into the Hulk's strength. "Raisin Shuriken," he shouted, launching the technique at Pain. Pain countered effortlessly, summoning a wall of chakra to absorb the attack. The explosion echoed through the forest, sending shockwaves rippling through the air. Sasuke and Sakura moved in tandem, launching their own attacks. Sasuke unleashed a torrent of fire, while Sakura used her enhanced strength to send shockwaves toward Pain. But the leader of the Akatsuki was unfazed, effortlessly dodging their attacks. "Your efforts are futile," Pain taunted. "You cannot comprehend the true nature of power?" Fueled by anger and determination, Naruto felt the Hulk's presence rising to the surface. "You think you can intimidate us? I won't let you hurt my friends." He charged again, the ground cracking beneath his feet as he prepared for another strike. This time, heeding to unleash the full might of the Hulk. "Hulk smash!" he roared, his voice echoing through the forest. A clash of forces. With a single, colossal punch, Naruto connected with Pain, the impact creating a shockwave that sent the surrounding trees flying. Pain staggered, momentarily surprised by the sheer force of the blow. But he quickly recovered, a sinister smile spreading across his face. Impressive, but not enough. As Pain unleashed a series of devastating attacks, Naruto fought back, channeling the Hulk's fury and strength. The battle intensified, with the forest becoming a battleground of destruction. Sasuke and Sakura fought valiantly by Naruto's side, each of them using their unique abilities to cover for one another. Sasuke's Sharingan allowed him to anticipate Pain's movements, while Sakura's raw power kept their enemy on the defensive. But despite their efforts, Pain remained a formidable opponent, his eyes reflecting a depth of understanding that made Naruto uneasy. A moment of despair. Just when they thought they had the upper hand, Pain summoned a massive wave of chakra, engulfing the area in a blinding light. Naruto felt a surge of panic as the energy radiated outward, threatening to swallow them whole. Together, he shouted, urging his friends to gather their strength. They formed a protective barrier of chakra, but the force of Pain's attack was overwhelming. As the blinding light faded, Naruto found himself on the ground, struggling to get back up. "No, we can't lose," he gasped, feeling the Hulk's power flickering within him. Sasuke lay nearby, breathless but determined. We can't give up, Naruto. We've come too far. Sakura gritted her teeth, pushing herself up. We have to keep fighting. We're stronger together. Fueled by their resolve, Naruto pushed himself to his feet, rage boiling within him. You won't win. I won't let you take anything from us. In that moment, he felt the Hulk surge forth, his strength magnifying as he embraced the darkness within. Hulk is angry, he roared, the power radiating from him in waves. The final stand. With renewed vigor, Naruto charged at Pain, the ground trembling beneath his feet. He combined his own abilities with the Hulk's raw strength, unleashing a barrage of punches that struck Pain again and again. Pain staggered back, caught off guard by the ferocity of Naruto's attack. This is impossible, he shouted, his voice a mixture of surprise and anger. As Naruto continued his relentless assault, he could feel the darkness within him coiling tightly. But for the first time, it felt like a part of him, a weapon he could wield. I am Naruto Uzumaki, he declared, channeling all his fury into one final attack. And I won't let you win. He gathered his chakra, forming a colossal Raizen shuriken infused with the Hulk's strength. With one powerful throw, he hurled it at Pain, who attempted to counter with his own technique. But Naruto's attack overpowered Pain's defenses, colliding with him in a blinding explosion that lit up the sky. The shockwave reverberated through the forest, sending shockwaves rippling outward. As the dust settled, Naruto stood victorious, panting heavily but filled with a sense of triumph. He had faced his fears and embraced the darkness within, channeling it into strength. Aftermath and reflection. But even in victory, the realization of the battle's cost weighed heavily on him. The forest was a wreck, and they had narrowly escaped the dire fate. As Naruto looked at his friends, he saw their determination mirrored in their eyes. We did it, Sakura said, her voice shaky but resolute. For now, Sasuke added, a serious tone in his voice. But we have to be ready. This is only the beginning. Naruto nodded, the thrill of battle still coursing through him. Yeah. We'll be ready. No matter what they throw at us, we'll face it together. As they began their trek back to Konoha, Naruto felt a sense of purpose solidify within him. The Akatsuki were a formidable foe, but he had the strength of the Hulk and the bonds of friendship to guide him. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. He would prepare, he would fight, and he would embrace the darkness within. The world had no idea what was coming,